What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Long Run Podcast. It's been a while. I think our last review was It. That's been a long time, and today we are going. We've been reviewing two movies. We're doing a movie review extravaganza, but we're just going to give you one at a time, just so you guys don't get overwhelmed. But today we have a wonderful set of characters, some of my favorite people in the world that are here, and we even have some newcomers, I think.
Shut up, bitch.
Yes, your favorite person, Ethan, is here. So to my left, right in front of me, actually, technically, we have Darren Zuleta, who I think this is his podcast debut.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first time.
Welcome. What's going on, Darren? How you doing, man?
Just chilling, you know.
That's why I like to hear my brother. So for those of you who don't know, Darren is also someone that we've known since high school, and he's just now joining us. We're very, very happy to have him. We've been trying to get him on for a while. And of course, right next to him, we have the most famous man here. Did you see his tweet about anatomy on drawing? It was really, really big.
Wow. Cite that shit.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, it's Noodle Mage himself. It's Ethan. How you doing, man?
Good.
How's the comic going?
Hey.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. And next to him is our resident PhD candidate. It is Jake Kupferberg. How you doing? Bojangles. Zark.
I'm doing well. I'm just back in from Chicago. Gonna fly out on Monday at 5 a.m. for a class at 9 a.m.
Oh boy! Oh, cutting it close.
Ouch. That's how we do.
Hell yeah! And then of course next to him we have Austin Hicks, who's doing what we. No, it always happens for you.
That's right. What are you? I'm eating.
Yeah.
I'm eating while being recorded. I'm doing great though.
Yeah. Doing good? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be here with my good friends.
Mm-hmm. And of course, next to him we have someone who hasn't been on the show. I feel like in a while.
I've been on it for a couple times, but
one
of them is just lost.
Yeah, I just feel like we haven't had you. I can't even remember what the last review you were on was.
Episode 0.
Was it ever since then?
Yes.
Really?
No way.
No way.
Because we would have had the Lost episode.
Yeah, I know with Conjuring.
Who is he?
So for those of you who might not remember, since it was so long ago, that was like end of 20. That was like beginning of 2016.
Yes.
That was a year in review of 2015.
Yep.
But anyway, this is wait, am I allowed to say your last name now or no?
No.
Okay, so this is Matt.
This is Chef Matt.
This is Matt. Chef Matt.
Chef.
I'm rogue.
Rogue
now. I broke ranks.
Yeah. See, I'm
Indeed.
surprised that we haven't had you because you have such negative things to say usually about Marvel movies that we should probably have you on more often.
It's not that we don't want him on. It's just that you just happen to not come with us.
I just happen to
usually.
work in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I just can't meet up.
And plus, you're busy with your lady friend, which of course we understand. She's a wonderful lady. But how you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to actually talk about a movie that I like. It's better than Marvel.
Okay, all right. I'm happy to have you, man. It's been a while. And of course, we have someone who's a veteran of the podcast as well, Mr. Evan Chung. How you doing today, man?
Yo.
He did a peace sign.
He did the peace sign.
For those at home. Yeah.
And then as is tradition, when we do have him around, we have AJ Cruz here, but who is not going to be participating in the podcast as usual.
But he's watching over us.
For those of you who don't know, he was actually present during the Batman v Superman audio review that we did. He just didn't say anything.
He's been a silent staple of this podcast.
Exactly.
Right.
Silently watching us. Silently watching.
And if you listen closely, you might hear some of his slip through.
Oh, no.
And of course, I'm here. I'm very happy to just be around with these wonderful people. But the movie that we're going to be talking about today...
Wait, who are you?
Who are you?
I already said it's Adam.
Oh.
Yeah, in the beginning.
From where? From esports
Tesla.
From too many things.
From Blizzard.
From too many things.
Famous games journalist. Adam the Cess.
Okay, well, the Cess. Whoa, okay, well, there's only one the Cess, and that's Adam Sessler. But, all right, so the movie that we're going to be talking about today is one that has been hotly anticipated since... for God knows how long, ever since the Justice League first became being, everyone dreamed of seeing it on the screen, and we finally have it. So we're gonna be talking about today. This is we've had a mixed opinion of the DC movies leading up to this point. Batman, we've actually reviewed every single DC movie except Man of Steel leading up to this point. So of course, if you want to look back on those, you can watch those.
Pause the video right now. Go back.
Go refresh.
We'll link it bio.
So I know for me personally, and you guys are more than welcome to chime in. I was a pretty big fan of Man of Steel. I actually really liked it. It's a very flawed movie. I can pick it apart, but I enjoyed it a lot. Batman v Superman was another movie that had a lot of potential, but there was a very, very flawed movie. Suicide Squad sucked. And I liked Wonder Woman a lot, even though it had a lot of flaws as well. And so, but overall, the internet reaction to DC has not been good, and everyone has been riding on this. Everyone's just like, no man, when Justice League comes out, that's what we've been all waiting for. That's what we've been waiting for. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, and we finally have it.
Here we are.
We finally have it. And
How do you feel?
I liked it. I didn't think it was amazing or anything like that.
There were parts. I think the consensus seems that we all liked bits.
Yeah.
But it was surrounded by things that we didn't like.
Right.
But I feel like it's mostly positive. Like no one left.
There was nothing I was just like, wow, this is horrible, or like, wow, I hate it. It was just more like, for me, it was a lot of like, this is average. Like, it could be better, but it could be worse.
It was a safe movie.
I didn't feel like paying $12 for it.
I could understand that.
That was the only thing in the back of my mind.
So I mean, just before we really get into the movie, how did you guys feel in terms of your anticipation for the film? How did you guys feel about previous movies? What were your feelings coming into the film?
I'll go last, seeing as I like most of all the films.
All right, you can go ahead first, Darren, especially since the people you weren't on the other podcast, so they really got to know your opinion.
Yeah, who are you? Then?
What did
you think of the other movie?
I walked into the movie. I didn't think much coming out of the movie. It's just like something that you would see. It's not like something that you go back for and die for.
Mm.
But definitely, it's just like very predictable throughout it all. And the only thing that I really liked about it was just like the different spins on the characters that you have there. It was like a different version of Barry Allen that you don't usually see. And then like for some reason, Cyborg was so much more serious than Batman for God knows whatever. But I actually kind of liked that. It just was like a switch up from what you see from the comics.
What do you think of DC's previous films? So like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman. What do you think?
I thought they were all like
About the same.
yeah, but
and you're in too deep now. You gotta keep watching now.
the only thing I can say is like I liked Wonder Woman, and I went and saw that like 3 times.
Oh, nice!
Like, yeah, I mean like
I liked it.
I didn't like. It was like there on my campus. They were just like, yo, there's movies Thursday nights. I was like, I'll pull up, and then it was just something I saw again. But like every other DC movie, it just kind of just like didn't faze me. I was just like, it was average or below.
And we don't mean to, I'm not going to name any names about who've been doing better, but there has been this constant comparison of DC, whether it be for right or wrong reasons.
To Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, to Dark Horse, to your Hellboys of the world. To your Spawns.
Golden Army.
Yes, and whether that's fair or not, it is a reason why people really, really don't like DC at the moment.
Because we have
Even though their comic sales are doing
the
better.
competition.
The distinguished competition. But so for you guys, again, how was your feeling going into the film? What were your anticipation, especially with the previous track record of DCEU? All right, okay. Apparently, everyone wants Ethan to talk.
I guess.
No, it's freeform. Go ahead.
I mean, I was actually one of those people who like kind of liked Batman and Superman.
I did too.
So,
I did too.
Thank you. Like there were bits of it where I was like, this is really edgy and awful, but like I'm kind of into it.
I remember we talked about.
Yeah, we were like the only one who were like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
This is good. Like no one quips.
Yeah, man killing God. Yeah, fuck yeah. But the other movies, Man of Steel, I don't really remember, so it probably wasn't that great to me.
It was a while ago.
That was our senior year of high school.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah,
And
damn.
we're grown men now.
We've
matured.
Yeah, we've left
college.
The womb of college. Oh boy.
I mean, I decided I didn't see Wonder Woman, but I would probably like it because it seems like everybody else
You didn't see Wonder Woman?
No.
What did you think of Suicide Squad?
I don't want to talk about that.
Listen to the podcast for that
I
one.
don't want to talk about that.
I'm very curious.
No, I want to say I feel like a lot of the problems in Suicide Squad are the same problems in this movie.
Really?
Like it feels they're similar kind of issues.
Hold on.
We'll talk about that later because that is very true.
I'm very curious how Wonder Woman looked in this movie to you, having not seen Wonder Woman. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Anyway.
yeah.
All right. So, anyone else feel free to put your opinions in about how you're feeling about going into the film.
Yeah, previous movies.
I liked it.
What did you think of Batman?
Wait.
I liked it.
No, this is actually really important because Matt has been a very, very proponent of DC and also a very big detractor of Marvel.
Yeah.
So go ahead, say your 2 cents, man.
I like Batman vs Superman because it did something where it's like we didn't have to see his parents getting killed right away.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have to go through it. It established that he's already kind of a thing. So I liked how we didn't have to go through the whole introduction. It just kind of like set him up. He's already a force. He's already
We didn't have
well-known.
to see his parents get killed. I mean, we
Origin
did,
story.
but we
We
didn't
did,
have
but
to
it
see the
wasn't-
origin story that we've seen,
Right.
two or three times
that
now.
that was a big
Yeah.
leap in superhero
Yeah.
history. We didn't do that shit. Okay.
I like the darker tone of it. I kind of moved away from Marvel because they're always just like everything's
Very
okay.
lighthearted. Yeah, very lighthearted.
Jokes, quips, no one dies. Ha ha
Disgusting.
ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, we kill like half our characters, but then bring them back because we're too scared to actually commit to something.
Is that comics though?
That's comics overall,
Comics,
but yeah,
comics
go ahead, keep
but
going.
still, like, they tease so much with from Avengers. What's his name? Agent.
Coulson, yeah.
Coulson was the first one that they were like, oh, we killed them off, and then it's like,
killed
no,
him.
he wasn't. He's going to his own TV show, and then
Is that
they
what
they
happened?
tried to
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah,
Loki
Agents of
off.
Shield. That he stars in that.
That's true. I thought it was just a separate date. I didn't know they brought him back.
No,
Wow.
no,
no,
yeah,
no,
he's
no.
brought back.
Oh, okay. That's
Who
sad.
else? Loki. They killed off, and then immediately in the next scene, they just ruined it by showing that like, no, he's still alive.
It's a
Cool.
very different
They-
flavor.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait, how many people watch Thor?
And it's even
Ragnarok?
funnier because I liked
Yeah,
the
so-
first two Thor films. Out of all
Really?
of
Out
the
of all the Marvel ones?
Interesting.
You didn't
I'd
like
like-
Ragnarok?
No, I'm just saying, like, before Ragnarok, just looking, because, like, before that, both two weren't the best. They were always looked at, like, the worst of the
Yeah.
Marvel films. And I enjoyed them.
Really?
Like, Thor 2 was, like, one of my favorite Marvel films.
I see it.
Stop
Thor
it,
2
yes!
was
But
Thor
like,
2.
I don't even
Thor-
like,
Shut
Thor
up!
2.
No,
I like
no,
Thor
but-
1. I'm a big proponent of Thor 1,
like
Thor
one.
even though it's very flawed.
We have a friend that is a big fan. of Thor 1
shout out
and Thor
to
2.
Malad Patel.
Shout out
But-
to Milan out there.
He likes Thor 1
Shout out
and
to
Thor
Malav
2
in India.
because he thinks Loki is cute,
I don't, not even like that. I just like them better. I don't know why.
What about
You like
we can
Thor
talk
as a
about it
character?
afterwards.
Yeah, I like Thor as a character. I like the Norse mythos.
That could help.
That's probably right.
Mm.
But I like the setting of, like, it's not on Earth, per se. It's not just, like, in New York. They're in Asgard. They're in the Nine Realms. So I guess that's what I like more about it. There's more location diversity.
Yeah, it's not
about-
random urban buildings
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're gonna smash through.
How
And I-
about Guardians then?
I like Guardians 1. I didn't like Guardians 2.
Okay.
I was just curious because that's also another one where they.
What about
Guardians
weird
Guardians
places.
1 was, like, the first, like, non-Thor film that I enjoyed. Guardians 2, I was just like, oh,
Did you
God.
really not like Winter Soldier?
No.
What? Okay.
I
Interesting.
Didn't
This
like
guy's
Civil
different.
War.
Yeah.
What?
This guy's the outlaw.
First Star Bubble.
I liked Iron Man 3. Boom.
What? Oh man, that's
Ah.
that's one of my least favorite
Oh.
movies.
Yeah.
When this mic goes off,
What did
we're
you-
fighting.
No, but what was that?
So what did you think of like Man of Steel?
Yeah,
or
getting
Wonder Woman?
getting back on it. I didn't really feel like Adam said, it's a flawed film, and I could pick it apart. It's a good ride. It's a good
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Uh-huh.
It's a good origin story. Do I feel like I have a lot of issues with it that holds me back from liking it more? Yeah. Going into Batman vs Superman, like I said, I liked it. I honestly walked out of that, and I was like, at no point was I like, wow, this movie was bad. Do I feel like if they held the Doomsday and Wonder Woman spoiler in the trailers, people would have been more forgiving or more
Mm-hmm.
open-minded? Shut up. Don't wave your head. Because it would have been a better, like, surprise, I guess.
Would have been a better surprise. It doesn't mean that they still shouldn't have used Doomsday. They
I
still
know.
shouldn't have used that entire. I'm not.
That whole
I
sequence.
ranted about this too much in the other podcast.
But the
Keep
thing
going.
that I'm questioning is, all right, they have Ben Affleck and motherfucking Jesse Eisenberg
Mm.
now want to leave because I heard he doesn't want to play Lex Luthor,
Really?
and Ben Affleck
Really?
wants to leave.
Really? Jesse
Affleck
Eisenberg
wants
too?
out immediately.
I knew
Affleck,
Affleck,
Affleck
yeah.
wanted out.
Jesse
He's been out
Eisenberg
for-
too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard stipulations. So I'm like, I honestly enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. I feel like he was the best. Like,
I liked him better with the beard. I'm just gonna put that out
yeah,
there.
I was
He
kind of
like
mad
it
when
I
he
agree.
shaved,
Yeah.
but I felt like he picked up the mantle that Christian Bale left and just kind of carried it, and I was really enjoyed. I enjoyed him, so I'm really kind of sad that he's leaving already. Because now they're already having all these like character
Yeah.
developments with Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, and it's gonna feel weird if they kind of like
It's like a new guy.
pick
Yeah.
Ben Affleck out and then just kind of like put someone else in. It's like, look, guys, it's still Bruce Wayne.
It's still Bruce.
It's like the Ant Viv of
Of,
DC.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why do all these actors want out?
It's
I think
it's
because
tiring.
it's a lot of it's a really
Backlash.
it's a really hard job to do because you're locked in
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like you keep coming back. I know the Captain America. He says he kind of doesn't
Yeah.
like it because
Well,
he's trapped.
Chris
Like,
Evans has gone back and forth
Yeah,
about it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom line is that you have the fan expectations first off, and
Yeah.
comic fans can be the worst when it comes
Yeah.
to their portrayals of characters.
Yeah.
You're locked in, like he said, for multiple years.
And just
The shooting schedule is very grueling, so you could like
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
pretty
you
sure
finish
like
one,
I'm pretty
and
sure
then,
that like Gal Gadot did Batman v Superman, then Wonder Woman, and then Justice League all back to back to back.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, probably.
and that's a lot.
And she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So,
And then on top of that too, you have to do the press tours, and you got to do. It's a lot. You got to go to the Comic Cons.
and then
Oh,
if
yeah,
you even
press
want to
tours.
try to
That's probably
keep
the
your
worst.
career
Yeah,
outside
press
of this
tours.
going, that's even double.
Yeah, you
'Cause
gotta-
look at all the stipulations with
Can't shave your mustache.
yeah, gotta keep the mustache.
Right.
Him, Chris Evans wanted to keep his career.
Mm.
Robert Downey
Downey.
Jr. hasn't really started anything since he's taken up the mantle.
I don't think.
of
I,
Tony
Wonder
well, I don't think. I
Woman-
don't think he
Wonder
wants
movie.
to. I
Yeah,
think.
no,
I think
he
he's. I
really-
think he's fine swimming in the
he
money
really
that Marvel
enjoys
gives
that
him.
role, I think.
Yeah.
He seems
Playing
to fit.
himself.
Yeah, he's basically playing himself.
And look at like Chris Evans, like other than the movies, other than
yeah.
Marvel, his other movies have just been like
Eh.
Well, okay, hold on. Snowpiercer was great.
There was also a romantic comedy that I happened to have watched with Chris Evans.
Well, was
in
that the
it.
one where they were stuck overnight in New York City, or was that a different one?
Different one.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I think
Just
Chris Evans is a
throwing
great
out-
actor, and I think that he does a lot of small. Mark Ruffalo does a lot of smaller work too. He's the Hulk. He
Yeah,
did
Mark.
Spotlight. That's a great film.
yeah.
So, getting back to the point though, the consensus seems to be that we all had mixed to negative feelings about the DCEU going
Yes.
in, and there was and I know I talked about it with
Positive.
Ethan and Jake since we were roommates. About just like all the shit that was going on. Batfleck was leaving. They announced like 8 different films. It was just like, well, guys, just get one out first. Hit a home run first before you start telling me everything that you're gonna do.
Yeah. New Batman standalone film,
Yeah,
directed by Ben Affleck.
No,
and then just
and
like,
then-
And there's gonna be the butler.
Yeah.
What's the name of Batman's butler?
Alfred?
Alfred Standalone.
Yeah, like they're like, we're gonna do Batgirl, we're gonna do Nightwing, we're gonna do Shazam, we're gonna do a Black Adam film. It's like,
Oh my
guys,
gosh.
like,
Shazam.
relax.
But I could also see them trying to build up hype to see what fans would want. Kind of like how Guillermo
Like
del
testing the
Toro
water.
will be like, guys, would you want to see this?
Yeah.
So you could kind of get the fans to
I-
like the studios to be like, look, people want this kind of thing.
I think so, but go
To
ahead.
be honest, I would like to see a DC film with just focus on an individual character. All
I
they've
agree.
had so
I
far-
agree.
I mean, like Wonder Woman, but
That's true.
I think Wonder Woman.
Wonder
might
Woman
s-
and Man of Steel have
Yeah.
only been the 2
Yeah.
films
Man
that
of
have just
Steel
been
was-
about like
Man of Steel was like their first, so you gotta give them a pass on that. Like, you
Yeah.
know, they were warming up to it. Wonder
Mhm.
Woman, I give them a pass on too because it was enjoyable but a little blasé. I give them a pass because they could not mess that up.
Yeah, that was too important of a film to mess up.
If they messed that up, 50% of the audience gone. Women gone.
Yeah.
It's female vote.
Mhm.
Like
Boom.
you can't mess that up.
Mhm.
So that's why I feel like this standalone Batman film could have been good. It's Batman, so
Oh,
like,
trust
like
me,
you
I
have
was
said,
looking
like
forward-
Wonder Woman,
Batman.
I was
they
looking
couldn't
forward to it.
really mess that up.
Yeah.
And then now their
I'm
lead
surprised
Batman's
that they made a
gone.
Justice League movie before getting to the individual movies
Yeah,
of many
I
of
was
the
gonna
groups.
say
Everyone,
that.
Unlike Avengers.
everyone was very surprised by that. I think they did for 2 reasons. One of them is they didn't want to be like Avengers because DC has a lot of their choices been like, let's not be Marvel, even though
Right, but
even
they
though
kinda
gradually
were.
they're going towards sort of
Yeah.
Marvel
Smart.
isms.
But yeah, because Marvel did it because it worked.
Yeah.
So like
We
just
want to
not
get to know these
doing it.
people before the
Mhm.
cool group shots because
Yeah,
then we're more
yeah,
invested.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
No, but it
Adam
also
has-
like,
Adam's
but it
mentioned something in
also,
the past.
but it also sets up like great story arcs going forward. Like the whole
Yeah, but-
back and forth in Atlantis. I was like, I want to know what's gonna happen
See,
there.
yeah,
I
see-
want to see the building up to
Yeah,
that.
do
So,
it.
so there's your perspective. I agree with that, but at the same time, there's been a lot of great ensemble films as well. If you
Okay.
think like The Usual Suspects or
Okay.
or
So
other
we'll go that
previous
route.
like
I see.
Yeah.
ensemble films that have very big casts, and you still love the Ocean's
Right.
Ocean's 11 is another
Yeah.
one that comes to mind
Right.
that introduces characters. It's possible. It's just that I think
You're
that
right, it's
with these
possible.
films
You're right.
and just cinematic universes in general, what happened to the Dark Universe, guys?
But in this case, that would be like having Ocean's 11 and then making a movie about little Chinese acrobat as well as Brad Pitt and the older guy who dies. You know, like it just it's a harder job to do.
I agree, but at the same time, DC, a lot of what they're doing has been like, let's not be Marvel. So, right, with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, like, let's not be joking, kidding, let's
Yeah.
take these characters seriously.
Yeah.
They didn't even do the post-credit scenes. They instead decided to have a trailer in the movie. You know, they did a lot of things like, oh, let's kill off a character, like Marvel doesn't do that, or oh, let's like let's have our characters merge and fight each other before Marvel. Like, there's a lot of different things that they've really tried to do to differentiate themselves
I
from
don't think
Marvel.
They're bad choices. I think it's just the execution.
Yeah, I agree.
Execution and
You're right.
time.
I agree.
Execution and time. Because now they're just playing on an on-field level, unfair playing field. Because it's just like Marvel has this
established,
mountain.
yeah.
They
of
started
time
they
and
started in
wealth.
2008. Like the head
It's
start's already
impossible,
there.
yeah.
They just have to go their own pace. So Evan, you haven't really said anything, man. How have you been feeling going into the film?
Talk about it, yeah.
I didn't care about this film.
He did
I wanted to see Coco.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
The Coco.
We'll talk, and you'll understand why when we do the Coco
I didn't
review,
even
which is
watch
cool.
Tune in.
Coco, but I wanted to see Coco.
So
Maybe I should have seen
I mean, I think we've all spoke about our feelings toward the DCU, and then even this film had a very, very troubled production, right? So going into it,
Yeah, the reshoots.
there was a lot of reshoots. They changed it apparently because of the lackluster reception to Batman v Superman and Suicide
Yeah.
Squad. There's a lot of script rewrites. There was a lot of different things that went
They
on.
brought in Joss.
And they brought in Joss
They
Whedon,
brought
the
in
guy
Joss to
who
fix
directed
it.
the Avengers Age
the
of
boy,
Ultron.
the golden boy.
The boy, Buffy boy.
Actually, I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
can see his influence.
I
Yeah,
see
no, the-
exactly,
yeah,
and,
now you see
and we'll
it,
get
yeah.
into that. So, and then of course you can't talk about what happened in this film without talking about the horrible tragedy that happened to Zack Snyder. While he was finishing this film, his daughter apparently committed suicide, and that's why he had to leave the film. He tried to just work through it, but he was just like, I can't do this. So he left the film, and that's why Joss was partly brought on.
Okay.
At first, Joss was brought on just to do some rewrites and
then
do some
Joss-
good dialogue into the scenes. But then after Zach withdrew over the summer, Joss took over. And credit to Warner Brothers, even though I think that they should have waited for Zach. Apparently, they offered to Zach. They were like, "Listen, you can take as much time as you need, and we'll delay this film so that we can get your vision out. Just take as much time as you need." But apparently, Zach said, "No, carry on without me."
Okay.
But that's why we had this very, very troubled production.
It kind
And
of shows.
and on top of that,
different flavors.
exactly, and on top of that, because of everything that's going on in DC with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, there's been so many people like, oh, there's a lot of mandates in the script, and you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to set up this. We have all these characters that are coming out. It's a mess over at DC. At least, I in my opinion, I still think it is. So
agree with
there's a lot of different things that went into the film, but I guess we spoke enough about
What's
it. But
interesting, talking about the trouble production, is that because of Henry Cavill's mustache,
Yeah.
you can see the exact points, like how much was reshot. Like,
Yeah.
It shows you exactly how much they went back. And
and that's a good point. So.
this is a visual
Oh, yeah.
indicator of when it happened.
So for those of you who don't know, basically Henry Cavill was he was starring in the next Mission Impossible, and he had a mustache in there. And apparently, I don't know who has Mission Impossible. I don't know if it's Paramount or something like that.
They had him locked.
Basically, they were like, they told Warner Bros. He cannot shave that damn mustache, so they had
cannot shave
to CG his mustache out in the
So
film.
it
That
looks
just
like-
that just makes me question his ability to grow facial hair is slow.
Yeah, no, couldn't
I-
you just like?
I think they were just being dicks about it. If I'm honest with you, that's my opinion. But
No, but yeah,
Sabotage
his mouth
from the
looks
inside.
like a Snapchat filter.
It
in,
was-
like,
it was
some of
really
the scenes.
apparent.
Yeah.
Like, it's like whoa.
it was strange. So okay, you guys were. This is in a lot of ways. This was DC has to knock this out of the park because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
I'd say
failed with
double
Suicide
play,
Squad.
double play.
Yeah, they failed with Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman definitely helped out, but everyone's just like, okay, you guys had to knock that one out of the park. What are you guys gonna do when you finally had this team up film, especially when Marvel's almost at Avengers 3 and 4?
Civil War was a fucking masterpiece.
Civil War was
I will die by
Civil War was so
I love
good.
that film. I love that
I'm out.
film.
Anyway, so I know a lot of us were looking forward to it. What'd you guys think?
The opening scene and the opening fight.
Remember,
scene,
by the way, as with all of our reviews, this is spoiler.
Spoilers,
This is full
spoilers, yeah,
spoilers. Full spoiler.
The
Wait,
opening.
We always say that like at the last.
Snape
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Snape
hold
kills
on.
Dumbledore.
As we're about to be like,
Go no
Martha,
further.
The
Right.
opening scene and the opening fight scene where it was just him and the one robber dude on the
Batman.
rooftop. Yeah,
Oh,
Batman.
yeah.
not Superman clip.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I honestly got like Tim Burton-esque.
That was
vibe.
straight out of that was straight out of Tim Burton and Batman the Animated Series. They had Danny Elfman's original score
Yeah.
kind of in there. They had the gothic
Yes.
The dark
undertones, plus there was the
shadows.
fog. It was almost like Arkham City in a lot
The
of
thing
ways.
is, I didn't like it. I felt
Agreed.
like it felt
It was
like
weird.
because they set the tone of like Batman v Superman. I'm like, okay, so this is like a realistic movie.
Mhm.
And then like I don't know, watching Ben Affleck like jump on this weird bug person, like It just looked really silly.
Really?
Well,
Yeah,
obviously
like
it's
it called
CG.
attention. It felt like for like this was the movie where like I realized that like all the costumes in the DC universe look kind of weird. Like they really started to stand out to me.
The post credit scene with Wade
Oh,
Wilson.
Deathstroke.
Yeah,
That's the way.
That was
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
We both said that costume looked good.
I didn't like it at all.
What? That's
It was
what
like, it was like
looked
straight out of
great.
a video. It was like a bad video game costume.
Really?
It
I
was,
thought-
it was blocky as hell.
I thought it looked
No,
great.
I disagree.
I liked it.
I thought it looked great.
Fuck you,
I
Hicks.
thought,
Yeah.
I thought it looked better when it was like all black for a second.
Agreed.
It was kinda
No, I
cool.
like how like there was like a split second frame. It was like done. Adam's like, I know who that is.
What I'm more confused. I mean, we shouldn't really be talking about this, but what I'm more confused by, why is Lex out of everyone you're gonna recruit? You recruit Deathstroke, like. Man,
Why?
he's just like Batman. He's just gonna get his ass kicked by
No,
Wonder
that's how you
Woman,
gotta start.
and
You gotta start with the anti-Batman.
Basically.
I mean, lit up.
Because who else?
No,
Well,
I
you can't
feel
even
like
say
they
he
hang
was
out,
even
don't they?
established.
No, but I feel like that's like a marketing move. Because I feel like Deathstroke has become a little bit more popular.
I think they're doing it because he's supposed to be the villain in the Batman Soul flick,
Yeah,
directed
yeah.
by Matt Reeves. But anyway,
So starting from the beginning.
so what did you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
think of that Batman scene? Darren, what did you think about the
opening,
initial
yeah.
Batman scene?
After the Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, it was weird that Bugman came out of nowhere and then there was
Mhm.
flying and then like the robber came back and he was like, "What was that?"
Yeah, actually, hold on. I have a few questions
Yeah.
now.
Oh, here we go.
Because wait,
It
first,
was a really confusing.
the
scene.
robber. What was the robber doing? Was he just robbing?
I think he was just robbing. I think
yeah,
he was just
well,
robbing.
Well, there was
Rob-
blood
Rob
on
Roberts
this.
do.
There was blood on the rooftop. So
See,
like,
I didn't even know it. It was
See,
like
I
too
don't
dark
know.
to see a goddamn
See,
thing.
But the movie did this like twice because they did they did it with like a few things because like they would just like add a character in to like give this weird like outside perspective, I guess.
Okay.
Because they did that with the robber and they did it with the Russian family.
Yeah.
That like we
Yeah.
kept.
I
coming back
honestly
to.
didn't get what their story arc was. I was like, I thought that was the initial where the last cube was located. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh, right.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then,
I
like-
almost felt like they add the civilian team in because of all the criticism that they've gotten over the years about like
all killing
just killing civilians. Like, I will have the civilians that they're going to save, guys.
They focused on it like so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're gonna save them, right? Or these guys like the villains? Like, what is this? No, but yeah, like I'm wondering like who that robber was.
Yep.
Like I guess he just was a robber, but he
Just
seemed
right.
like vaguely important because he had speaking lines, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was like maybe a Batman villain or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't
Not
tell
that
if
I
he
know.
was.
No, yeah, I
I
couldn't
didn't
tell
see
either.
anything.
But then also, what was the bug doing there?
The parademon, Batman said it was a scout.
Right.
But that's it.
Weren't
Right.
they looking for?
I guess they were looking for the
They were
They're looking for the mother
cube.
boxes.
Yeah,
I
they,
assume.
That
they
was
were
attracted
just
to
they were looking
fear.
around.
They're attracted to fear.
So
I
they
guess.
go to Gotham.
So well, no, I mean, well, not they didn't go. I think they're going all over the place looking for it.
Because there were
But he
people in
happened to smell the
Metropolis.
fear of robber being hung from the roof.
But I feel like
and then he
makes
hung
sense.
like hunt her like a trap.
okay, but I feel like the being attracted to fear thing was just kind of like thrown in there.
See,
Yeah, I
okay,
mean-
so
Like it didn't really have much
Hold on.
bearing.
I kind of wish that Mark was here so he could answer these questions because I don't know if
Yeah.
parademons are in fact attracted to fear.
I do not know.
I don't know if that was just something they added to the film or not.
Regardless of whether or not that
Yeah,
is the
reg-
canon, that is the canon here.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah,
regardless,
technically.
but it felt like kind of weird because they
Really?
it felt like they kind of just threw it into the at the end. They could be like, oh, now he's afraid, like the villain, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
they're
yeah.
counting on him. Oh,
I kind of
Like-
like that was like an ironic kind
But,
of like.
I
"Haha,
guess,
fuck
I
you, you
respect
get
the
eaten."
idea of it, like oh, like they all turn on him and they start eating him, but
Yeah.
like the way they did it was just like setting that up like in the beginning, like oh, they're attracted to fear. Remember that. Like,
Yeah.
wait.
Uh-huh.
That felt a little.
I don't know.
You guys have any other feelings about the Batman opening scene?
I didn't like it until the parademon showed up. Believe it or not.
Really? How
Yeah,
come?
I don't think I caught the Tim Burton-esque feel.
Mhm.
I just thought it was really dark and maybe
it was really
perhaps the
dark.
tone that was set from
Batman
the
Beast.
previous movie that it conflicted and without the ties to the animated series or Tim Burton, I just felt a little annoyed.
Mhm.
And then the parademon showed up. I'm like, oh, I know what that is.
Uh-huh.
Dark Side? Question mark. And
Right.
then I was kind of excited to see what was happening,
Yeah.
and then I was on board. But I didn't even get much of the Danny Elfman score while
I
all that
got
was
it, I
happening.
caught
It was very like faint. Like they didn't
Agreed,
blast it out.
agreed.
too.
Which I like because it wasn't just like oh Danny Elfman. It was just kind of like
I would have liked the
"Ah."
embracing.
Well,
of it.
I agree, but I don't know. I think that's very like polarizing because some people want it, some other people don't
I
like
understand.
backtracking.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the score overall for the film? Because it was
I
Danny Elfman, so I was very happy. But I didn't.
I like
notice
I like
it.
how they
When I noticed
showed
it, it was okay.
each individual kind of like themes. You had the Wonder Woman riff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's get the guy who knows.
Did you notice the
Yeah.
score in this movie
I
at
did,
all?
yeah. Mhm.
What'd you think?
What'd
What'd you
you
think?
think of it?
There were parts that I liked. and there were a lot of parts that I didn't like.
Okay.
I caught all the I guess the little motifs. I heard even when Superman like came back to fight Steppenwolf, you sort of heard like this you sort of. Thank you, Adam. You sort of heard like the Superman's motif. You heard it very faintly in the background. You heard Wonder. I don't like the Wonder Woman theme.
No,
Really?
So,
It's very
You don't like
polarizing.
so-
It really
Yeah,
is.
Really?
it's just so
Yeah.
like on the nose,
Oh,
like
okay.
warrior,
Yeah.
like tribal, and it's like I get it, but
Okay.
yeah, I think overall as like in terms of like as music that sort of like sets the mood of the scene, I thought it worked. But in terms of like individual like pieces that you could pick out, there wasn't really any. Like the score by and large, other than like the motifs that already exist, I didn't really hear anything original.
Yeah.
It was just kind of forgettable. But in the sense of like within context of the scene, it worked. Just on its own, it just wasn't.
And I think it was a good idea to bring Elfman on board.
Yes.
Because the previous approach to scores, I don't think would have served this movie very well.
So see, that's another aspect of the trouble production, though. So as we all know, in Batman v Superman, the score was done by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. Junkie XL, for those of you who don't know, did the Mad Max Fury Road OC, which is so good,
Love it,
good.
love it.
And Junkie XL was supposed to do this score, and apparently he did it. And then once Joss got on board, he kicked him off. Apparently the score wasn't working or something, and then he brought in Danny Elfman, and of course Danny Elfman's done Spider-Man, the original Batman with Tim Burton. He's even done some Avengers: Age of Ultron work as well. So that's just another aspect of the troubled production, though, right?
Yeah,
there's
like flipping
so
back
many
and
changing
forth.
hands, so many hands in the kitchen or whatever the phrase is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too many cooks. and
Too many cooks, yeah.
Ruins the fucking soup.
Before we move on, what did you guys think of the initial clip? Of
The Superman clip?
Yeah.
I liked
That was
I liked
weird.
it.
You liked it?
I liked it a
Yeah,
lot.
I think I kind of liked it.
Hold
too.
on, I'm like drawing a blank. What was the
It was,
original?
No,
it was
with
like
the
an
kids.
iPhone clip. Like, hey, this is my. This is
Oh,
my podcast.
I thought it was
Did
alright.
you fight a hippo?
Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
That's funny.
I think the thing that struck me is I thought Superman's costume looked so bad in this
looked
movie.
weird.
It looked like it was a Halloween costume.
wait,
No,
actually
in that
wanna-
clip only, it looked bad. In the actual
Yeah.
like fight scenes, I was like, it looks better. But something about that film, like that clip,
clip.
I was like,
No, but I
looks
think
off.
because I think the clip was like an actual like cell phone. So like
Yeah,
if you
right.
actually look at that costume in real life, it looks stupid. Like if it's but, like in a movie, like with post processing,
Yeah.
like, it
Give him a
looks better,
hue.
but-
I liked it. It made him like the Superman that's like
That I wanted.
I'm the Boy Scout. Like I'm just trying to be
Right.
like the
Okay.
Even
policemen
though
are the
Henry
heroes.
Cavill could have done a better job with it.
Here comes one of my big problems with the movie.
All right.
So like you have that like initial like found footage type thing where
Sure.
it's like it's all cute and it's like what do you like best about her, sir?
Uh-huh.
And like he smiles and he's thinking about Lois Lane, you know,
Right.
fucking. But and then it cuts right, like smash cut to fucking the fucking funeral.
Batman. Oh,
No, I'm moving on to the funeral.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The
Like the grave site and the
gravesite, and,
memorial.
like, she sang, I forget what the song was.
Oh, it
I
was-
ki- I
see,
kind of
I
didn't
don't
like
know.
it.
I don't know the song, but I remember that same guy sang that song on a cruise I was on and got booed off the stage.
Yeah.
It's a really sad
It's a
song.
cursed song,
It's a very sad song.
Yeah.
Depressing as
but
well.
I even like because like our friend made a comment saying like everything was just so bright. They're going with Marvel, and then I see this opening credit scene. I'm like, I'm not getting that. It's just really
Right.
dark.
But here's the thing, like they did that, and that they're like, oh, Superman's dead, Hope is gone,
Yep.
and they did this fucking thing. They kind of like they showed a clip of a woman like with the hijab,
Yep.
like getting accosted by
yeah.
these two men.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I-
what the fuck?
Yeah, I
What
agree.
the fuck?
There was that.
No. Like, if you're throwing that shit down, like, you gotta be fucking ready. Like, that was, like, too, like, it felt like, oh, like, we're tackling real issues, you guys. And then,
Really?
like, but then the rest of the movie didn't really, like,
I agree.
Not at all.
it was
on
like, it was like, okay, like, we're admitting that
Yeah.
the world's kind of in a weird place right now,
Mhm.
but don't worry, Superman's back.
Yeah, like the
Like,
that's a
And
good
that, because that
point.
was the problem with me,
Yeah.
because, like, they didn't really, like, stay true to that message. They were, like, it felt like they were just putting that in there to, like, get, like, just, like, I don't know, put, like, an edgy flair on it.
and
instead of
I felt
anything.
like I agree with you. I felt like the beginning montage was very disjointed. I was like, what are we watching here? Like this doesn't
Right.
make too much sense. And then on top of that, like I understand that we have to just accept the rules of the movie, but I'm still not buying this whole thing where everyone's just mourning Superman dying. You guys didn't give a fuck about him, and he didn't really do that much shit in Batman v Superman. He barely does anything heroic. He just died, and then like no one cared about him. Like, oh, he's dead now, and like
No
we've
one
lost all
cared
hope.
who I
But
was
they
until I
never
put the
never had
mask
hope when
on.
he was alive
He
anyway.
did some stuff. He did some stuff.
What did he
Remember
too.
He saved those people on the roof, you know, where they were
He
like,
became Jesus.
yeah, he became.
That's right.
Oh yeah, he watched them for a little bit and then got them. Like, come on, man. Like,
no one cared who I was until I died.
it was-
They did that. They did that with the Muslim thing, and then they also did the scene with Wonder Woman, like where it's just this dude gunning down people. I'm like, fuck off, like, fuck off. Like,
What was his
Oh
motive?
yeah,
It
we
was
never
like-
we never found
like
out,
the
did we?
reactionary.
because they were
terrorism.
like, we're terrorists and we're just
We need-
Start again. And
Yeah.
get rid of all
Again.
Oh, that's
technology.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's
Fuck
right.
off.
That's right.
Like, it felt so like it felt like a slap in the face almost. Like oh, we get you guys are having issues. Watch our movie.
Uh-huh.
Like,
it almost felt like
No,
Interesting.
they didn't have Pepsi, okay?
Yeah.
They don't
That's right.
understand
That's
us.
right.
it almost felt like, and to build off of that, it almost felt like for a movie that was so, I wouldn't say goofy, but much more lighthearted compared to Batman v Superman, like, that's a very real world issue. It's
no,
a very,
yeah,
it's a very
that's
big
what I'm talking
tonal,
about, the
like,
tone
Yeah.
whiplash.
like conflict.
Like,
Mhm.
because we had scenes where fucking Aquaman is downing scotch
yeah.
as,
That's
he,
right,
as
that's
he
right.
like walks.
Oh, you mean the
Yeah.
Calvin Klein commercial?
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
That's right.
oh
We
yeah.
have that we have Superman fucking cracking jokes, but then like in the same fucking movie we have a woman begging for her life, like
Right.
please don't kill me, snap. And I'm just like, what? Make up your mind. Like it just felt like a lot of whiplash.
Listen, I resonated
Like-
to Aquaman downing scotch.
Very well.
I felt that.
But like,
I
see,
felt
that's
it burn.
I felt like
I know that's
it
what
felt
I
like
do.
the serious parts were the Zack Snyder film, and then the silly parts were the Joss film.
Uh-huh.
And, like,
I
they
agree.
They
I
clash
agree.
super
I had to
hard.
agree.
Like,
And it's just like so for one thing, I think the bank robbery scene was really good. Outside of like the terrorists
I kinda liked
themselves.
it. I mean,
It was
Agreed.
it was
the
shot
action was
well.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
action was
and
cool.
the thing is, you can tell that was something that DC did on purpose. You know that because everyone's talking about how good Wonder Woman was. Like they immediately
They want her- they
throw
wanna give her a
that
scene.
action
But
scene
wait,
in there
but wait,
immediately.
But wait, the first shot we get of her is up her skirt.
Shut up.
Right up her skirt.
And I
You
love
can
that
see the
scene.
whole
I
goddamn-
love that scene.
But it's like, oh, okay, I can see this is a movie directed by a man now.
Right.
Like, this is, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
I agree.
get it.
I agree with Ethan. No, I agree. With
I
Ethan.
have to agree with him. I have to.
It's not. It doesn't paint it well for this
Like,
this icon of
immediately.
femininity.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
immediately it's just like,
Nope,
What's
she's
up?
showing
What's up,
her
Evan?
feminine
Hold
parts.
hold on.
What you got, Evan?
Did you guys notice the change in costumes of
Amazons?
the Amazons in
I
this
heard,
film?
didn't
I
watch
heard
the
that there
movie,
was, but I didn't look at it.
I
But then
didn't-
again,
yeah,
I
nothing
didn't pay
stuck
attention
out.
too hard.
The only thing that I noticed-
Did they like not give them pants or something?
No
Like, or-
pants and like bearing like the midriff
Okay,
and stuff.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh, is
A
that,
lot more
is that a
skin.
recent addition?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Well,
tell.
look at that.
That's
Well,
you could
look
tell
at
that.
that.
The only
difference.
thing that
Mr.
I kind
300.
of noticed
I
was
didn't even
that Wonder
notice
Woman's
that.
skirt seemed like shorter, and I was like,
No, because I thought
I was
thought
like,
the
this
Amazons
doesn't
looked
seem
stupid.
practical.
Like I thought the Amazons looked stupid.
See, I hope I want to hear your opinion on Wonder Woman when you see it, just so you could compare the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
Like
I
as far as
haven't
I remember, like the costumes weren't that different.
No, like
I don't
for
think
some
they
odd
were.
reason, this
I
one,
mean, aside from what Evans pointed
bar
out.
in mind that
no,
I was
yeah.
loving the one scene. Some scenes I was like, her skirt just
Jason,
seems
look
like
up the costumes.
Okay, go ahead. But so I agree with you in terms of like the shot was not. It felt like
I mean,
a Michael
but
Bay
the
thing.
The thing
honestly.
is, like, the shot itself wasn't bad because like it's like an up shot, like oh she's powerful, but she's wearing a skirt. Like,
Yeah,
Right,
and then on
So
top
you
of
can see
that, she was
everything.
like high up
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
I get what they were
Like-
trying to go for, but
yeah, yeah.
But it happened elsewhere too.
yeah, I agree.
I know. Remember, like off when they were
I'm
getting
sorry.
off the plane.
Yeah.
and it was just her ass was like a
Yep,
third
exactly,
of the screen.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
I remember.
like,
And even then,
I mean, I get it. She has a nice butt, but it just
listen. Gal Gadot is beautiful. Like
Absolutely.
no one's gonna deny that.
Absolutely.
I don't find her that beautiful.
No, because
Shut
Beauty
up.
seemed
She
to
looks
eye
like-
the
Get
beholder.
out.
She looks like my stepmom. So I'm just
There
like,
it is.
No, no, it's fair,
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Your stuff.
Just have
You savage.
All right, so I looked it up. I saw the images in the original Wonder Woman movie. They're wearing like full armor, no
Oh, look
midriff
at that,
showing.
yeah.
They got like like they're.
let me see this.
There's a lot more skin. in
Let me
that
see
movie.
this.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was a movie for women.
Yes.
Justice League is
Patty
a movie
Jenkins.
for.
The general
No, like I can
general
see that
audience
now.
of men. All right.
Hard.
Man, I don't want to believe this. This looks so bad.
This is like so like.
Oh
this is
man.
exposed, dude.
Just, if you just Google like Justice League Amazon's costumes, you'll see.
Yeah,
what
because they got the
Man.
midriff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's-
I mean, they didn't.
I
they didn't have
kinda
too much
wanna-
We can link it in the
but yeah,
description.
Yeah, link it in
It's
the
the
description.
midriff.
But anyways,
Yeah.
so getting a little bit more
The
on
midriff
track.
turns it
On
into a
track.
bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like slave Leia.
I kind of want to. The one thing that I keep going back, I want to talk about the whole beginning fight where they're setting up what these cubes are in the first
all right,
time.
so before we get to that, I just want to add one more thing. So,
Yeah.
Ethan, I know you've been very critical in the past. I remember in one of our reviews, you talked about how Marvel sometimes does this too. Like, I remember you commented how Black Widow has her costume, but it's like all the way down here. But like, Wonder Woman, they weren't wasting time with the cleavage either.
Yeah.
Like all of her like her normal outfits, so to speak, like her everyday clothing was like.
But okay, I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No,
okay,
her
but,
first
but
scene,
those
that's
stripes
not
are
inherently a
button
bad
down.
thing. It's not her showing skin and everything. That's not inherently a bad.
I don't think
thing.
that's inherently
Like-
bad, but at the same time, I think that
function over.
like if you looked
Fashion.
at Wonder Woman, I suppose you can make the argument that's a period piece. I feel like
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins wouldn't have done that, whereas I feel like this one it's apparent the cosmetic choices. I don't know. Maybe
I
that's
think-
just me.
I mean,
Could be.
her daily fashion, like I can like hand wave that because she can dress however she wants. It's fine. But like when
Right.
when it becomes a problem is like when she's fighting and it doesn't seem as functional.
That
When
or
she's, like,
blatant shots.
exposed
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I think her regular costume was fine, aside from what Matt said, where he thinks that the skirt was shorter. And I think
It
that might
seemed
be true.
like
I'm
no,
not sure.
yeah.
I could
It
find
just
it.
seemed at some points I was like,
The
it
skirt's
just looks shorter, and I was like,
like it's slowly getting shorter.
what the
that's
hell?
what I felt.
Yeah.
Like some scene, like at the very end when she's talking to the kids and she's like standing there, I was like, her short. What is going on?
She's naked in front of this kid.
I know. They
But-
could see all of her.
But anyway, moving on from that, like I think the bank robbery scene was good.
Yes.
I think
When she was blocking those bullets, that was pretty.
it
so
was badass.
badass.
No, it was definitely
I love Wonder
badass.
Woman in these
And-
I
movies.
don't get
Yeah.
like, I don't know Wonder Woman's
Backstory.
lore, but like, is her whole like clashing of the gauntlets like her most powerful
Yeah, I didn't
like
really know what
weapon?
that was.
I never saw that before. I mean, great. I haven't read a lot of Wonder Woman comics.
That- I'm
Well,
full
I'll-
flaying that I don't know that
Hold on.
much.
I believe in the movie that was like the thing, like that stops gods and
Right,
stuff
that
like
was-
that.
Yeah.
But I
in-
thought,
in
no,
the
I
movies,
thought that was like
that doesn't
her, like she is
No, yeah, it
the
only
god.
works. So it
with
only works
her
because of
with her gauntlets.
Yeah, it only works because she's wearing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't know about that.
No, yeah, they were meant for her. Remember how she had to steal them?
Oh, so those are like
No, but I thought that's-
Right.
But
Right.
that's what I thought she originally thought with the sword and shield, but it wasn't the sword. It was her, like her
Oh, right.
physical
Yeah, that's right.
being.
Yes, because remember the sword.
Yeah,
fight
the
with
sword,
Ares and,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
she's the god killer, not the
Right.
sword.
but these things are the channel of the.
So I'm just like every time
Right.
she did, I was like, is this like her powerful move?
Yeah. Also, like sometimes she did it like with her shield instead of the.
Oh, the
Yeah,
gauntlets.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, my
she's the instrument.
I guess so.
Right.
you're right.
I mean, what I was just trying to say is that I never saw that before in terms of like my exposure to the characters mostly through the DC animated series in Justice
It
League,
happened in
but
the
I
movie.
never saw
It
her
happened
do
in the
that
movie.
there.
In
It happened in the movie though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're
wait,
right.
if she can do that, why not just like do that all the time? Like, why not-
I really wanted.
like,
I really wanted to see what
She did a
happened
lot.
if she would have hit
She
it
did
with
do it, I don't
Superman,
think.
but he stopped her. Because I was like, oh, this could be fun. Would it affect
But
him?
I mean,
Yeah,
it
the-
wouldn't
the
though, because
versus-
she did it to Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf was like, okay, that was nice. Like,
Yeah.
No, she got him like once where it like knocked them all the way back. No, in the tunnel it like knocked them all the way
yeah,
back.
but it wasn't damaging. It was just like, okay, I was over
Big
there,
deal,
now I'm
yeah.
over here.
Uh-huh.
She moved him. Okay.
I mean, my whole point is though, I probably wouldn't have done much to Superman. That's my point. Because
I don't
Superman
know.
was just tossing around Steppenwolf like he was a fly.
It's kind of weird now I think about it, how in this movie they like to portray the gods as like people that were around, just powerful beings,
Right.
and that like Superman just shits on all of them.
Yeah, Superman ruins every theme in this movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't
Completely
like
takes
how
it
they
back.
like.
I can
such a
agree
plot
somewhat.
I don't. One of my biggest gripes is I don't like how much they like went loops and loops with Batman v Superman to show that like, look it, a human can fucking take down Superman.
Yeah, and then this
And then
movie,
in this film,
Batman
he's like,
was
oh,
like kind of like underpowered in this movie.
I mean, no. In this movie, they show like everyone's like, yeah, Batman could be Superman. Like, nah, man, he can't. He can't do it.
Yeah.
He can't do it, man. Don't
I mean,
don't
I guess
kid
because
yourself.
he had enough time to
Yeah,
prepare.
he got lucky.
Yeah.
is what
But
we
like
learned.
even like when he was going, he was like, "Oh, is that guy giving you trouble?" And just like the guy flew, and you're like,
Yeah, no, it just felt circle jerky. It felt like,
Yeah.
watch
Oh.
audience, yeah, look, come
Yeah.
on. Like-
Superman was like circle jerking himself. He was like, "Look at how strong I am."
It's like that scene in the
Oh,
Avengers
man.
where Hulk like smashes Loki, but it feels really undeserved and like it
Uh-huh.
feels like kind of like
Mhm.
like the
It
patronizing.
eliminates
I
tension.
guess.
Eliminates
Yeah, it
tension.
eliminates tension instead
Yeah.
of being
That-
fun.
okay, so
Yeah.
that's a really big problem with the film, but we'll get to
Yeah,
that
we'll get to
later.
Hold that thought.
I think
Yeah.
that's my biggest gripe was because the whole thing about Batman versus Superman was just like, look at what a human can do to a literal god in every
versus
sense.
man.
And then in this film, it's basically like, actually, no, he wouldn't have.
Superman's
Actually,
the best. Yeah.
Okay,
Flash is faster than
Okay,
Superman.
so-
What else do we want?
all right, so we talked about the bank robbery scene, and again, that's really
Oh,
touching on the whole
actually,
like
my point.
going through like they're really showing off Wonder Woman from the beginning. They're giving
Yeah.
you what you guys want.
Can I make a point about
Sure.
the first scene with Batman?
Yeah.
Sure,
I thought that scene was confusing as hell.
I agree.
It was dark.
It was very dark.
It was dark. It was shot very strangely. Like
I agree.
There was a lot of quick cuts that like didn't portray the motion, and I understand you could say that's because Batman's confusing him. You know, that's trying to.
He's going around.
You know, it's
Symbolism.
It's a fear.
I didn't think was it that funny. Why are you laughing so much, AJ?
AJ's laughing for the viewers at home.
Soon we'll crack him.
Yeah,
He'll say something.
someday.
All right, but I thought it was that scene was just really. I didn't know the point of it. It seemed like it was important, but it was just setting up like
Yeah, it was
things
just
later
setting
on.
up that like
The 3 cubes.
Yeah, that the people, the
MacGuffins,
coming.
yeah.
That's all it was setting up.
But it just seemed like why
But
is
yeah,
this random
threw in
robber?
The rubric, yeah, that was like because they're coming, right?
Yeah.
Because Superman's dead. How is that so weird?
Oh, God, the
Oh,
screenplay-
don't
the
even get me
screenplay-
started. Oh my god, that was so stupid.
That was
But keep
a
going.
weird
There's all sorts of screenplay issues.
Yeah. So I just need I need to get this out of my system. Okay.
Alright,
So
Preach.
so we're they're coming because Superman said there was a time when Superman was even on the goddamn planet. Why didn't you do it then? And they're like, and then
They did.
no,
wasn't
that was
then.
like thousands of years ago. And they're talking about yeah, we chose it because now that Superman said it's full of fear. It's like man, what do you think happened during World War I and World War II during the fucking Holocaust and all that other shit? You think there wasn't a lot of fear back
That's like
then?
an awesome movie.
Yeah, I was like what kind of like what do you mean you waited until
Hitler.
like what do you mean you waited until Superman was like no the fear was so much greater during those times like man these like today like there's so little fear compared to what it was like back then. It's like
Maybe it's because at that point there was fear, but people were united one side against another.
I
this
suppose so, but at the
fraction.
same time though they didn't have as many heroes back then, right? There was no Cyborg, there was no Flash back then, there
Right.
was no Batman.
Right.
They only would have had to deal with Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
I mean, the
Depending
basic,
on how-
the basic excuse is just that he wasn't like fully formed yet. Like he wasn't ready yet. That's all. Like, like by the time he was ready to attack, Superman was there.
Well, it
that's
don't
what
matter.
That's what they would say. is
I
what I'm
agree,
saying.
but it don't
Like,
matter anyway because Steppenwolf was a bad villain anyway.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the
He
bathroom
was
real
a
quick.
terrible villain.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You guys,
Oh, God.
you guys
He
can
was-
keep going.
Our host is leaving.
Adam,
Okay.
our host.
Oh,
you
but-
guys
oh,
go-
Ethan,
guys.
you and Jacob both hosted the podcast
All right,
before.
let's do
What's
it.
next?
Yeah. I'll be
What's
back.
next,
Alright.
senpai?
All right, what's up, guys?
Oh, God.
So
I wanted to
before,
talk
before
about-
we move on to like the bigger themes, like, do you guys want to talk about the characters a little bit? Like,
Um,
I wanted to actually talk about the opening scene where it's like the first battle, and I liked how they showed
Which
that
battle?
like
Which battle?
the Amazons,
Oh, it's Steppenwolf?
the,
Oh,
the
Steppenwolf.
first Steppenwolf
Okay, yeah,
fight
go ahead.
with how like I liked how they showed humans, Amazons, and the Atlanteans
Oh,
all fighting
I
together.
love story
so
stuff.
Because
that
that-
whole sequence was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
really?
Yeah.
And then they
That
had
was
the
one of my
Green
least favorite
Lanterns
parts.
come in, and I
Really?
was like, I
Ooh.
see what you're doing there. It's a better like hinting, foreshadowing it. Like they exist, like they're here. They showed that like when a Green Lantern dies, the ring goes
Oh, the
off.
Green Lantern.
'Cause that's one of my
yeah.
I was
favorite.
all
that
over
was
that.
a good little.
I was
touch.
all
That was a little-
over
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Because the Green
fucking
Lantern's my
Zeus
favorite.
was fighting.
Zeus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. I see.
was
See,
it.
I admit
Oh,
that
wait,
this was basic.
where is Zeus now?
Yeah, well, yeah. All right,
He's dead.
so-
All the
we
gods
killed him.
I
died.
admit my love for this scene was really basic fangasms going on. Like there was nothing artistically valuable to it. It probably wasn't even
Other
that
than
good.
just exposition.
I loved what I saw. The Green Lanterns and Green Lanterns are my favorite DC property, and to see them doing their thing and unifying
to
with the
unify,
Atlanteans,
yeah,
the
yeah,
Amazons,
yeah.
That's-
the man tribes,
Yeah, it was
and
just like a
what was
fun
there was one and the gods, which what
Yeah.
I assume was Zeus, this Leonidas looking motherfucker. He
Fred
and
fighting
going
nuts.
nuts. I was all over it. I was having a lot of
I
fun.
love that. The showing the tribes coming
See,
together.
It establishes what the DC universe is, which is just like you have all these like really powerful like.
It was
tribes
almost like a
and-
Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I am
Yeah.
a sucker for
Yeah.
such like
I-
scenes.
I
You
see
can
the
even look
deal.
at it when
Yeah.
they spread the cubes apart, the races.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
One
the
for
games.
man, one
Yeah.
for Amazon.
See, but the thing with me was that during that scene where like they had the cube, the great game cube of power,
Yeah.
and
The MacGuffin.
yeah, and like he like. Okay, one of my gripes with this movie was like his teleport effect was really weird.
The
like,
boom tube.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was like a weird like mobile game thing. Like, like getting it was like it
A
was like,
recall.
it was like a recall, yeah, from League of Legends. It's like,
Okay. Oh yeah.
I really wanted them
It's
to
a boom
like
tube,
go
it's a boom
more
tube, exactly.
into
I know,
that.
it was
Like
like-
it was just like it would just pop up randomly. It was like, is this thing's like infinite? Can I
No,
like,
it's like it's
go
it's
like
apocalypse
anywhere?
technology.
Austin's gonna explain.
Well, I mean, I don't know the specifics,
so
but I mean,
so
it's
it's like a reference?
It's an exact way of teleportation that apocalypse people use.
Okay,
So
it's
dark
like,
side,
so it's like
dark,
a reference.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the boom
Alright, that-
tube.
that makes me feel a
That's
little
what
bit
I
better.
feel like it was a
But-
reference to, but like
but
someone
but
who
like,
doesn't
see,
know.
but for someone who
Right,
doesn't
it's just
know,
a little weird.
It seemed kind of weird.
Recall. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also like wherever he appeared seemed to like not like it seemed always like he was like a little bit off from where the boom tube
Uh-huh.
was.
I don't know.
I was like, what? Like,
Recall.
what?
Hold on, guys.
You
I gotta
missed.
wait like 2 seconds. All right.
Right.
All right.
No,
Bye.
Okay, so we have that scene with the Amazons where it's like this cube has never been disturbed in 1,000 years.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, mother, I have returned.
Yeah.
And that was the moment in the movie for me where I told you guys this before, where I was like, oh my god, is this what superhero movies look like to other people? Like, is this what this movie looks like to my dad?
I think it's a great point.
Like, it looked like I get it now because
Right.
like it just seemed so stupid.
Stupid and dumb
Like,
and like
it
over
seemed,
dramatic.
it seemed really fake.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm like, it's just, I could tell like, it's just all people in
Artificial.
costumes,
Yep.
and they're all just like talking funny,
Right.
and like it was just,
And that's
all,
sad.
It was all these. Because I feel like I'm biased against the Amazons because they just look like all these daytime TV women in these skimpy bikinis. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? is
See,
this
but now I
bullshit?
want to see what
They
it
did better
thinks
in
of
Wonder
Wonder
I
Woman with
agree.
the actual armor costume.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure. What did you guys discuss while I was
Just
over
the flashback to when all the tribes are
Right now we're
fighting.
talking
Oh, okay.
about
The boom
okay.
tube
Yeah.
technology.
My favorite,
Okay.
one of my favorite scenes in the movie, actually.
Oh, I mean the flashback.
That big flashback.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, but okay, so what happens is he booms down and he's like, I will take the cube now.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you very much.
I kind of like how they
God.
kind of were trying to like keep it away from him as best as
No,
possible.
yeah, I
with
like
the
That was
arrow.
cool, but did you guys
I
like the
like
part
that
where
bit.
he stares like I'm back, and then he like had a speech, and then no one opened fire or tried to attack him? It was like, guys,
Yeah.
we've been talking about this for thousands of years.
Like you said, Matt, the choreography in that scene was really cool, especially with, like when she like she used the rope on the thing
Yeah,
to pull,
to pull it.
and then she like did like the
Yeah,
ball.
she shot the
But
arrow.
thing is, she did that, but then like we found out like oh it didn't matter anyway because he just like
Yeah,
pooped over
He
there.
just
Right.
fucking
And
just
I was like,
beat
oh,
him.
okay, whatever.
Once the
Yeah.
the first jump where I saw his like range and like his
Yeah,
ability to
it
jump
was
far,
like-
I was
it's
like,
like-
hey, they're not getting me
Yeah,
out.
I mean like the part where like you need to seal it
but-
now, like the sacrifice, right?
See-
Think about that in
No,
terms of all
I
the
thought
warriors
that
in
was
there.
so because
Like-
I was still it seems so dumb to me.
But then they were holding the doors.
Yeah, they were like,
and then they just got crushed. And then,
And like
No,
I
they didn't get
presume
crushed.
they
They
got
kind of
crushed.
like they kind
They
of like
Yeah, yeah,
are
I
you
think-
sure? I
left
thought they
it
got
that
crushed.
way.
No, I'm pretty sure they like lunged forward.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I
Yeah.
doubt, but knowing this movie, it could be either.
I thought
it
they-
could be
who
either.
knows?
Yeah.
But then like he breaks out of it,
I
and
know,
like you
like-
hear like the
butter.
fighting that's still going on. So it's like I guess you guys can run if you're still alive.
Yeah, no,
See, but this is a
I'm sitting
Superman
here
villain.
thinking this is a guy with like cosmic power, and like this is just like
A stone, a
Yeah.
stone
Oh,
dome.
I guess we have to go home.
And he can literally teleport. He can teleport in and out. Like there was never any question of he was gonna get out.
Simple. They're Amazons. You know they don't deal with this
I
stuff.
mean, again, he hasn't seen Wonder Woman, so he doesn't get to see the clash of technologies with
Yeah.
the bow and arrows and like
That was a
machine
cool scene.
guns. So he doesn't get to see that basically like Normandy-esque beast
Right.
rush.
I will say for one thing, at least the Amazons are more prepared than the fucking Atlanteans. They had like Atlanteans had like 4 guards. Yeah, like
Like whatever, man.
you could tell the Aqua Bro had a influence on them. They were just like, yeah, man, this thing, it don't matter.
They
Yeah,
went totally West
yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
You
They were
walk
like,
into the Amazon,
hang
they have
tight.
like
Brother.
an entire army just
Yeah,
like
they were ready.
no, like the Amazons had the bows ready and everything, and then
Meanwhile, Atlanteans had
like 4
a
guards.
girl and like some other dude.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like
I'm
a
pretty sure that was
powerful
Hela
water
or whatever.
Mara.
Mara.
Waterbender.
I'm sorry.
yeah, Mara.
Oh, AJ, you talk.
Whoa. I missed it. I wonder if we got it on
Nice.
record.
But like, what was I gonna say? The only other thing that bothered me about that scene was like,
The scene being Atlantis or
no,
Okay.
Wonder Woman?
Amazon.
the Amazon, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Amazons gets crushed by her horse.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking like, but they can like jump 50 feet
Yeah.
and like take a bazillion, like they can like get hit by a car and be fine. I'm just like,
But isn't
Like
like
a
Wonder
horse
Woman
got
like
you?
a
Like,
stronger
Wonder Woman is
version
in
of
Wonder Woman is
special
a stronger
case.
version. Of
Yeah.
it. because she's
They're not all Wonder
a
Woman.
god.
she's basically a god.
They're still pretty
But
powerful.
still, yeah, they did like these cool.
They're-
like,
they're
still
like,
powerful,
moves
but, like,
stuff, yeah.
The normal Amazons don't
It was
like
just
they
like
don't
to
have
watch
like
it-
bullet reflection. Like
Yeah.
they get
Right,
shot.
but
They get
They're
shot.
still above.
Okay.
They're beyond human, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
No,
above,
they're beyond
but it's
human.
not
They're
like
not, like,
the scent of Wonder
Okay.
Woman, where she could just like get punched by head butted by Superman and be like, "Oh, okay, kunk."
Now, I was a bit confused, though, by the flashback scene, just because I was confused on the timelines, right? So,
Okay.
was this before Ares rose? Was this after Ares? Did
God.
Ares help
No,
them in the
no,
battle?
no,
I was a bit confused
No,
about
Amazons
that.
were made
It
to
was
fight
before.
Ares, correct?
I don't
No,
remember.
I don't
no,
remember.
no.
They were made to combat all threats to man, correct?
Yeah,
Something like that,
No,
I
the
think.
gods created
To
like
humans.
humans, and then they
Humans,
started
yes.
to like fight amongst themselves. So
And
then
then they created the
Amazons
Amazons.
to come down to calm them, and that's when there was peace. So I'm guessing that's when that happened.
Because during the story, they said that not Zades, Zeus died, right, to give life to Diana after the final
Oh,
battle with Ares,
Zeus was there
because
then.
Ares killed all the gods.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh.
assuming that Ares helped them to kill or to fight off.
Because Zeus was in the fight.
Yeah,
I
Zeus
guess
was
that's
there.
what they're trying
Yeah,
to
the
like
entire
go
world.
come home
Yeah.
about like them uniting. So like
Kratos was
Ares
there.
kind of like
Kratos
put
was
her.
there.
I just think it's unique that the mythology of the Amazons, right, at least introduced in Wonder Woman, they talked about, oh, Ares is the big bad you have to watch out for.
Right.
But then the real big bad apparently is Steppenwolf.
I can understand.
It's definitely a little bit
Wait,
of
I'm
weird
like, can't-
clash of
what's his
mythologies.
name?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf?
Yeah.
I
Steppenwolf.
thought it was like Thebinwolf.
No, Steppenwolf.
I was so nervous for like the first 10 minutes, be like, I don't remember his name. I don't want to say it.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that
Steppenwolf.
guy, the really tall dude.
the,
And
the,
then-
the devil-looking
I
motherfucker.
like he was such a generic villain.
And I
know,
thought Marvel
kinda-
villains
I
were
kind of
generic.
liked his like weird obsession with the cubes and be like, yes, mother. I was like,
Yeah,
I
no,
get a
I
little
feel- I feel
creepy.
I think you could have benefited from an R rating because that Amazon
Maybe.
scene with him in an axe. I was just
Oh,
picturing
gosh.
the
carnage.
like a Logan-esque amount of gore, and I thought
Right.
it would have set him up as a real threat had he been actually
Yeah,
able
definitely.
to use the
Definitely,
giant axe
yeah.
in his hand.
Instead of
Rather
just
than,
being
like,
like
how-
a blunt,
yeah.
like a blunt, like, like I'm gonna push you.
Yeah.
Like every act.
I'll say what was
But
it?
then when it comes to Cyborg, fucking arm gets chopped off,
Yeah, it was
leg.
pretty-
Hey, listen,
It's a
it's a robot. He's a robot.
girl.
He's a
He
robot.
doesn't have
Robot
rights,
boy.
Yeah.
right?
He doesn't have
He's
rights.
Samurai
robot.
Jack
Oh,
effect.
he's a double minority.
Why do you think he's included? Oh, I didn't say. Oh, I didn't want to go there. Never mind.
It's the Samurai Jack effect.
Yeah.
You're allowed
Yeah.
You're allowed to cut people into pieces as long as they're electronic.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
keep going. I know, Jake, you were about to say something.
Like Steppenwolf just looked really silly. I thought he was Darkseid, and I was like, wow, what did they do to
He was
Darkseid?
horny?
No.
Yeah, like, no,
He's-
everybody expected Darkseid.
He's
Yeah.
one of the children
Like,
of
he-
Darkseid.
like, he
from what I
mentioned
heard.
Darkseid.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
I was like, he looked like Chinook.
Yeah, he did actually. The
I,
Mortal Kombat villain.
I just.
Yeah, no, he was very like he had like a
I
very,
felt like
like
he
ancient
served his
evil flavor
purpose.
that didn't really
Like I didn't expect it was kind of like what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ronan the
Ronan.
Accuser.
Yeah, no, he was
But
exactly
he
the
did-
same.
I even
did
liked
exactly the
Ronan a
same.
little bit more because I felt
Really?
like Ronan.
Not even saying like
Oh.
Ronan was as bad or as good as him.
Ronan
He
was
just
pretty
kind of
bad.
like did the whole
yeah, no, he did the
evil
whole-
middle ground
Yeah.
He
person.
did the whole like weirdly like just like unjustifiably evil,
Yeah.
and like he also talked funny.
He was
And then there was
trying
like,
every other
I'm
villain.
evil. I'm going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Man, like you and everybody else.
He was trying to earn favor back to get back to Apocalypse, right? Because he was exiled.
Is that why?
That's
Yes.
what he said.
Because
he wanted to- was
because of
exiled.
his
That
failed
was not
takeover
clear.
of Earth,
That was
he
not
was
clear.
he was not allowed back to Apocalypse.
That was
Right.
not clear.
But I don't know where
No,
he
if
went.
that was made clear, I would have liked him more. But that was not clear at all.
He did seem kind of
Because like he just seemed like I'm going to destroy the world because I have horns.
It was just. He's just so generic.
He
Yeah.
was
It-
interesting.
that's what I'm saying. Like he
But at
it's
least
just
he didn't
insert
have a
it.
beam in
Boom.
the sky.
Yeah.
He had a weird dome.
There was a dome. There was a beam in the sky, then
I
it
know
made
for a second,
something,
yeah.
and then it went
And
away.
then it was, yeah.
At least there was no flying battle in the sky, like for the most
Oh,
part.
yeah, yeah.
But
I think he was interesting in one way, and that's that he was like, all right, I'm not gonna fight anybody. I'm gonna get my power
Yeah,
up.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
gonna sneak around.
He
and,
avoided
like,
that.
I want to touch on that
Yeah.
because one of the movies that I had the biggest problem with was after the shirtless Henry Cavill fight scene.
Oh,
they,
God.
they like left the cube like
yeah, right. Yeah,
and
I was
he's
like,
just like whoa.
yeah.
Like it's almost like an afterthought because they look over and you see the beam and then he's gone. And it's like it's like a scene out of like Arrested Development. Like,
Yeah.
the camera's shaking like oh fuck.
Oh, that come on, you gotta admit, you have a pissed off
Like-
Superman, so it's like your focus is on the pissed off
I mean,
Superman.
I'm not blaming Steppenwolf. I'm blaming the Justice League. Man, you guys should have been on top of that. You knew that he wanted the mother box. Batman
Yeah,
took
and
like
you, like,
80
left it
years to
over
get
there.
there, and he
Yeah.
finally got there. It's like, oh, Silly me, forgot the mother box.
Yeah,
Whoops.
Yeah, what was Batman doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
He was getting the big guns. He was getting no. He was getting the big guns.
Yeah, he was getting.
Oh, yeah,
Lois
he's-
Lane.
But anyway, I mean, Darren, Evan, what do you guys think about Steppenwolf as the villain?
He looks so shitty.
He looked terrible.
He looks so bad.
Did he really?
He
Terrible.
was just like all gray.
And molten.
His color scheme was just off.
I mean, it was all gray. Wasn't a lot of contrast. Even the texturing, it just
He
it was,
looked as boring as he was.
it was so obvious. He was like, even at least Ronan, that was practical effects. Like
He looked
he was
kinda
just all CG. And it's just like, like especially don't even get me started on the last battle. Holy shit, that was just a
Really?
CG fest.
Oh yeah, actually.
I didn't mind it.
No,
I didn't even notice it too bad.
what I was telling Adam, there was one CG effect that I really enjoyed.
Henry Cavill's mustache.
We always go back.
Second favorite CG effect was how they did the running effect on the Flash. Because I like that better. Because for the fucking
like-
Quicksilver,
I hate his
Oh,
form.
okay, continue.
Quicksilver.
Oh, his running form was terrible.
yeah, his running
It was
was
like-
like shit.
No, he had
But I
this-
mean,
It's
guys,
hard, it's
we
hard.
don't travel at Mach 25,
Yeah,
so
you
we don't know
know.
what it's
No,
like.
I see why, because they want to make it seem like really.
favorite
Good
CG
thing.
effect was there was one time when he was bolting around and you didn't see him, you just saw his lightning, and I love that.
I
I,
think
was
that was
like,
cool.
this is how you show speed. You equivalent it to the fastest thing, which is lightning. So I love that because I thought they were gonna do another Quicksilver as
Quicksilver.
everything slows down. But something else that I was thinking about was he hasn't fully amounted to the speed force. He's still gaining speed.
Yeah,
so I
he's
liked
very
how
clearly like a novice at this thing.
Yeah.
I liked even at his top speed, it still wasn't like time was moving slow, like stopped completely like Quicksilver. There was still like motion. So I was like, oh, I get it. He's moving fast, but he's not at his top speed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask Darren this because you watched Flash the TV show, right? If I'm not
No.
correct. Oh, I thought you did. Never mind. I'm sorry. I was gonna ask about like the differences
Yeah, the
between
difference.
that Barry
Jan.
Allen
Should
and
ask
this
Jan.
Barry Allen. I'll probably ask Jan, but from what I understand, I'm pretty sure Barry Allen is much more usually portrayed as older, and he's also like a cop or something like that. So this is a much younger version. I thought he was a lot like.
but he's studying criminal justice. He's
Yeah.
trying to be a cop.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought this
Maybe.
version was a lot like the Flash that we saw in the Justice League cartoon, Wally West, in terms of like being
Yeah,
childlike
he's
and being
kinda
the
silly.
Clipper. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the
But I
comic
like
relief.
that. I like
I didn't think it was
having
bad, yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Once you looked at the Avengers, all these people were mature and all this. So I liked having that like kid
Yeah.
who was like the first battle. He was like, "Oh fuck, I actually have to do this,"
Yeah.
and like he didn't know what to do. So I
Yeah.
kind of like that,
I mean,
like
that
insight.
That scene felt a little bit like I don't know. Maybe it was just the way it was shot because it was like. It was just like these
Extremely
weird,
close?
No, it was like
Oh.
these weird like reverse shots, and like it was just like Batman standing there like you can do it.
Yeah,
You can do it.
yeah.
But it also
Yeah.
showed that like his like I was saying, he's not at his top speed. It
Yeah.
showed his like
Yeah, I like the direction.
There,
they
Amateur
there's a couple of I think one of the stronger parts is the interaction between the characters of the,
Oh,
the film.
definitely.
I did kind of like the cyborg Flash thing.
Yeah.
You know, it
Listen,
was kind of unfunny sometimes.
listen,
but I like the idea
I
of it.
Yeah.
I will wholeheartedly give up my Beast Boy Cyborg friendship ship for Cyborg and Flash.
Flash.
Okay.
No.
So I mean we were already talking about it now. So what do you guys think of all the characters that were
Yeah,
introduced, and on top of like the ones that are mainstays?
They were held back by the screenplay.
I agree.
Probably
I agree
held back
100%.
Probably, yeah,
I
probably,
like
would say.
I
Everything
liked how
fell
they
flat.
weren't
Not everything,
all
but-
generic, or it's just like you have to have the playboy philanthropist, smart mouth,
He wasn't
witty.
even that.
No,
it wasn't
he
even-
was just kind of like the main character.
Very grim.
He was just tired.
He was just kind of the guy who had to keep moving the plot forward.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
No, but I liked what each. What I
There's
was
no
saying was
Playboy.
like I liked what each like brought to the table.
Mm.
You had the
I
Flash's
see.
childlike wonder and really amateurish of what to do. Batman and Wonder Woman has been doing this the most. They've been the one that's been interacting with the world the
And you
most.
had like brooding cyborg.
Brooding
Yeah.
cyborg. I like the whole like. Is he?
He had a
Is
really
he?
nice voice.
He did.
Like
Yeah.
I was always taken aback every time he spoke. It was like, is that him talking or is that like a narrator put in? Because like it
Interesting.
seems
I like
really
I like the
nice.
whole like we don't know like what Cyborg's full potential is. Like every day
Yeah,
he
kinda
wakes
cool.
up and it's just like I have this new power.
It was
I
kind
have-
of a cool angle.
I have languages that I don't
Yeah.
even know what
But
they
I
are.
feel like the only person who really got to display their character was Barry. Like he got to be like.
And even then,
even then,
he really didn't do too much.
But I actually felt like sometimes, like, well, maybe it's just that the times that he did do things, like, it wasn't funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I like that actor. I think
Ezra
he was
Miller.
a good pick.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, he's
Give
funny,
him more screen time.
But it's just like
feel
sometimes,
he
like,
could
he just needs to shut the fuck up. Like, the blood sugar comment, like, that was just not funny at all.
Mm.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
Like, where it's like, is this a bad time to bring up my blood sugar?
well, he could
in my
faint.
theater-
Like he'll just pass out.
Yeah.
All those
What were you saying?
calories.
What were you saying, Jake?
Tell me, in your theater, were people laughing at those jokes?
No.
Because in my theater,
Eh.
they were fucking dying.
There was some like
I mean, our theater
Chuckles.
wasn't very filled.
no,
It was kind of an
there
empty
was
theater.
some. I felt bad for you sitting next to the one guy because I felt like after every single thing, he was like he laughed or
dying.
like said something.
That's
He didn't. No, he didn't really do it that much. And even when he did, I just kind of tuned him out.
I felt like he was saying a lot of stuff.
I could definitely think that the remarks, those are Whedonisms at their finest, I think.
It wasn't even good.
He
It's not
definitely
better.
sunk his fingers into him.
He
He's like,
ruined-
okay.
and then you have Aquaman.
But
I like
Aquaman was
Aquaman.
the best. Like you always see him in
Bro.
the comic books, and he's just saying like, "Yo, he just talks to fish. That's all he can really do. He swims
Right.
fast, and that's
Right.
it."
I
But,
liked-
Like,
I
he
liked-
actually was like kind of cool, just downing that bottle of whiskey. I was like, "Hey, this guy's
Commercial.
awesome."
he's definitely came across as a badass motherfucker, but you really didn't learn that much about him.
Yeah, that's what
But I
mean.
felt
Yeah,
like they
that's
did that on purpose for
Right.
the Aqua solo
It just
film.
doesn't.
I
And
can,
that's what I
could've been
really
handled.
want to
I
see.
agree with that, but I don't know if I'm hyped to see. I think he's cool. I guess.
But no, but the thing is, because we don't really know anything about him,
Yeah.
like, he kind of came off as like an asshole sometimes.
I
That's
think
fine.
I think his
That's
intro was
fine.
really
It's
cool.
just-
Like I liked how like Bruce Wayne was like you know like I need to talk to like the King of Atlantis or whatever the fuck, and then like it was like immediately like I thought that was pretty cool, but you really like all he ever does during the film is just like either complain or like make some like Aqua Bro comment like yeah my man. It's like all right
He
Aqua
had
Bro
some
calm
good
down.
fight scenes. He
Yeah,
got some good
he
jabs
kinda
with
becomes
his
insufferable
fork.
in a way.
I
Like
agree.
he kind of grains on you, and
Yo,
you're like,
when
oh, I
he
have to
was
watch a
fighting-
movie about this guy. Jeez.
What?
When he was fighting, he was exactly like Maui from Moana. Making those noises,
Yeah.
swinging around his pitchfork.
Yeah, the
That's
way
the
he
only
saw
thing I
it.
could really think of. I was just
Mm.
like straight out of.
What else?
I
can
like
I say?
like the continuation of
You
Bruce Wayne being
welcome.
like, yeah, you could talk to fish. Can you?
Yeah.
I need to know, man.
Bruce loosened up over the course of the film.
So
like that.
I mean, that's one thing I was gonna say. I don't know how much I liked Bruce in this film. Like
Yeah.
there was a couple things I liked. I liked how he tried to push leadership onto Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like I liked how he was just like, yeah, don't even try and talk some shit to me. You only came out because your fucking boyfriend picture got stolen. Like
Yeah.
that's some real shit. Like she like hid away during the Holocaust. Like
Yeah,
come on.
That was a good point.
But there were some other things too.
Fuck Wonder
I like-
Woman.
Yeah.
I like
the
Oh,
Jews.
that's right.
Because she
She
said
wasn't
like
even a
I
part
only
of it.
came out because of like the direness of the situation. It's just like yeah, I mean
Holocaust one.
yeah, it's like
Holocaust, that
Doom-
was a lot of people.
That was like
Yeah.
only
Wonder
like
Woman.
10 years after World War One.
Yeah. where's
No,
the-
no.
eh,
World War One ended at like 1920.
Okay, so
yeah,
so
so it was like 20.
20 years.
But-
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
what I liked was like I liked his character development. Like in Batman versus Superman, he was just bitter because of him losing Robin.
Yeah.
Jesus, really?
And then with the and then I liked how he kind of felt guilty, like he caused Superman's death and then caused the world to become
agree.
so grieving.
I liked the guilt part. I liked how he tried to push leadership on. I liked the moment where he had with Barry, where he tried to like encourage him and all
Yeah.
that. And I even
Do it.
I even like the one part too where like Batman is like trying to like take off like his suit and like Wonder Woman comes in and like you can tell like he's too old for this. Like you
Yeah.
see the fucking bruises and
Yeah.
the scars. But at the same time, for me. I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought it was very apparent that like Bat, like his heart ain't in it no
Agreed.
more.
No.
You could tell
Agreed.
like
Ben
he
Affleck's
just
a good actor.
he don't
and
wanna
it
do
did
this
not
no
seem
more.
it.
But I think that's okay because this Batman is beaten down.
Mhm.
Right,
In
just
this
like
universe-
Ben.
right.
Yeah, no, it kind of fits.
It kind of does, but at the same time, like I just feel like
Oh,
you
yeah.
could. He's not putting that full effort
Like what he was in Batman
in Batman v Superman. But and maybe that's the direction. Maybe that's how he was written.
Oh,
but that's how I
another
felt.
thing that really pissed me off was like I don't like how like everyone else was friendly with everyone, but you always had Batman. You didn't know who he was. He was like the secrets of secrets. And I didn't like how, like, in this movie, it's like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne, I'm a Batman. Here's my little bat cave. I didn't like
Here's my
that.
back card.
I didn't like that because, like, throughout the Justice League and all that, he
Right.
kept his identity secret. He's
Okay.
the one that has the contingency plans on everyone just in
Yeah.
case.
It's a different universe. Though.
Yeah.
I know, but like that's
But he
like
doesn't
some.
like it, is what he said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I just felt like
That's
that was
fair.
like one of his
I can
biggest
see why.
staples.
Yeah,
was
him-
just like
him
he was
always,
secret.
like, keeping a few steps
Well,
back.
this
from
Batman
everybody.
also
Yeah.
shoots people with guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one thing too that was apparent in this film, as like Batman, like he's really out of his element against like these paradigms. Like it works in the animation
Yeah.
because apparently just an explosive batarang always works. But in this one, like he had his toys, and once they were gone, he was just like, and he's like stole someone else's
I
gun.
think
Like
they could have done a lot better with Batman gadgets. I think
Like
so
I
a
was
lot
saying-
of the fun with
Yeah, he
Batman
got a lot of
is
money.
Yeah.
is the fun gadgets, and,
Right.
and the Nightcrawler thing that he had was not that impressive.
no, I thought the Nightcrawler was
kinda
stupid.
liked
It was
it.
like
I
It
like
was
it was
weird.
It could have been
slow.
executed
Yeah.
a lot better.
Why not
I
use
was
the
like
Bat-
very.
I
puppet
think
thing?
You know,
that,
yeah, I don't know why doesn't he just build like a mech suit? You know, like,
Yeah.
like a cool. Like,
why didn't he just wear the mecha armor from Batman v Superman? Why didn't he rebuild
all
that?
time, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
I
fun
felt
could
like
be had.
with this crazy
gadgets.
plan. I'm sorry.
It's
Go.
okay. I'm done.
Crazy gadgets.
I just thought a lot of fun could be had with Batman tomfoolery because a lot of the fun from some of the other movies in cinematic Batman, not quite
Not Batman and
Christian
Robin.
Bale. Not Christian Bale either, but like I think just creative ways to subvert the villain around him.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that.
It's not a fun movie.
I
Austin.
felt
I
like
know. It didn't have to be
he
fun
was
and goofy.
like-
No, but it wanted to be fun sometimes. It
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
be fun, but also serious.
It was very. It was very hard.
Puzzle
He
But also,
movie.
it's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
Hold on, I want to phrase my thought.
Go ahead.
But like, he was like, I felt like he had the idea to bring Superman back in his head, like through the whole movie. I could see it. So like you said, why the fuck didn't he come with the goddamn mecha armor just in case something went wrong?
Yeah,
He was
no
just
way
like,
the
let's
armor
bring
went.
Superman back, and
Yeah.
then just like as he's like Flash is
think,
like running to go touch it, just be like. "Doo-doo-doo, I'm gonna
Yeah,
put the
like-
mech suit on.
Yeah,
What are you
like-
doing, Batman? Just getting ready, you know, just in
Putting
case.
Putting on my pajamas,
I'll be a
yeah.
minute.
I'll be a minute.
Pulls out the kryptonite staff just in case. Contingency plan, guys.
Well, I
You
guess
know, the reason he wasn't in that shirtless Henry Cavill scene is because he was trying to fit into the armor, but he was too fat.
Oh,
It was
no.
really embarrassing.
And he had a moment.
He just started. He was like,
So one thing that I really liked about
pretty.
Shut up. Shut up, Ethan.
We just saw him on the street.
we know.
Tell me.
so
There was the one time that Alfred beat Superman up.
all right, let's not talk about that right now.
Oh,
So
what the-
so there is one thing that there was a couple of scenes in this movie where I was like, wow, like you guys are like really pulling on some heartstrings right now. So there's that one scene between Harry and his dad in the jail. And
Oh,
like
that was a good scene.
yeah, when
That was.
when his dad was just like Barry, like
Like,
leave
don't-
me
like, leave me
behind,
behind.
and then like the hand on like I was like wow, like you guys are
No,
really
that
pulling
was
on
really
some.
like he was just
That
like
was a good scene. Yeah.
basically like saying like he's like you didn't kill mom
Austin
like the
didn't
the
like
the
that
the,
Austin
the,
didn't
Really?
like
the
that.
really
I-
You
that
like the Amazon scene?
Wait, no, well, the flashback.
The
The
flashback.
flashback.
that hit me. I was like,
No,
wow,
that
you're adding
really
some.
was.
You're adding a real human element to Barry right now.
Well, I mean, I'm not usually this person who says, well, I didn't know anything about him. I'm supposed to care, but I kind of felt that way. And maybe it was the hand on the glass thing that felt derivative
The
to me.
cliche- yeah, I
Like,
can
I don't
see
know.
that.
I can
Because it's always that.
I could
Yeah,
understand the
it's always
cliche.
that.
I can
Yeah.
understand, but I think the way
probably what took you out.
the dad was
Probably.
acting his ass off.
Yeah, Ezra Miller is
Yeah.
great.
The dad was acting
Oh,
his
really?
ass
He was
off
doing
when
pretty
he
good.
was just like Barry, like you're such a good kid, and like you
Like,
could tell the
you're working
love.
dead-end jobs.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I think I was confused a little bit about what he was saying. Like, oh, he works a lot of jobs and dad's unhappy about it.
No,
works
he was
dead-end jobs.
he was
Dead-
working
oh.
dead end jobs to get a
That's
criminal
a screenplay issue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was working dead end jobs for a criminal justice degree to get his dad
Right.
out of the system.
And he was like, how do you have time to get from these places? And like, oh, because he's fast. I get it. But
See, I think you just got taken out. By,
Probably.
Like, by some
Probably.
poor wording and
Yeah.
yeah. on the thing.
Right.
Just got
no
taken out.
but
completely.
like yeah like
I
when his
acknowledge
father
the
was just
acting.
basically like the whole trial
He
was
was
like he killed his mother
Mhm.
and to have the son
was-
trying
yeah,
to
that was
defend
pretty
him
big.
and like the father basically not saying it but being like no the trial wasn't rigged
hmm
I was just like
Is that
fuck
what
man
happened?
like he's basically admitting that he like
Maybe.
killed the
I'm not-
kid's
I'm not
mom
sure.
I don't-
I'm not
I think
sure.
it-
I'm not sure if he fully
I don't know if
admitted it.
I didn't interpret it that way. For me, it was more like the dad, like out of love for his son, he was like,
Yeah.
"You need to leave me behind."
Because yeah, you're
I'm
just
holding
working.
you
You're just,
back.
I can see that you're just spinning your wheels in this town.
Right.
I want you to go. somewhere
running in
else.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's
Yeah,
easy. Again,
that's,
I was
that's
just-
symbolism,
Right,
my
right,
friend.
right.
You're like, I'll get it.
Yeah, yeah.
running puns
And then the other thing I really liked too was the scene between Cyborg and his dad when like
monster.
yeah when
Yeah,
that
that
the
was-
line about the monster I was like, oh wow, like we're getting to like some existential stuff
It
a
was
little
a
bit.
clever move.
Yeah.
It was a clever one.
no him waking up being like I have languages in my head that I don't even know like
Yeah.
what they are from
And and maybe that's we didn't talk about it enough in the film, but to me that was like I want to see more of that stuff because that's that's a really deep thing to think about. Like, I don't even know what I am, and I'm constantly changing every day. Think about like the existential crisis that you have with that kind of thing. But
See, for me, that scene was what Austin's scene with the jail was like, because I got taken out of that scene because like I was like listening to Cyborg's voice and I was like, wow, that's a great voice. How is that his son?
But I like
like he was physically larger and like he like sounded better, and I'm like, that's not your son. That's not your son.
This could weasel.
But I like how like
Yeah.
at the beginning he was like, "Oh, just don't mope," and I thought they were just gonna play it off as like, "I'm a freak, don't look at me," and he was just like, "No, I'm running numbers. Like I'm thinking at like X amount of miles per minute.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking
Like this like
50
eldritch
times
machine.
faster
Right.
than
It's
like
kinda
what I
weird.
was 20 minutes ago." And then it was kind of like the fun part about like him and Superman both died and came back. So it's like they both had that
They could
like
have touched more on
death
that,
and
yeah.
resurrection.
Yeah.
I did think the what's it called, the Cyborg, I thought he looked terrible.
Yeah.
He looked like an NVIDIA
some-
GeForce like graphics card.
Some scenes he did look good, in other scenes
No, when
not
he had the
so much.
sweatshirt on, he looked pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
But-
even though like him constantly glowing, like when you think about it, it's kind of weird because like, does he like? I mean, I guess he doesn't need to sleep, but like, I don't know. It's just like him
What, waste of
constantly
battery?
him constantly glowing. It seems kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, I liked his costume at the end where it looked like he was getting upgraded and it was like smoother. I was like, okay, the classic Cyber
I
look
see.
works really well, but it just like, I think that when you have that much reflection and
Yeah, that's exactly
and
it.
refraction, it just looks so fake. You know it's not real.
Yeah, no, it just like really was hard to look at directly. And just like it was just all reflections. Yeah, it was like a bad polygon model.
Yeah,
Let's see.
and I'm sure like,
makes sense.
and I don't mean to, of course the animators, I'm sure you guys worked very, very hard on that, but
Good job, guys.
at the end of the day, just a lot of the CG in the film
No,
didn't look good.
What happened is they got told to make that.
Yeah,
I
Somebody
agree.
said like, hey, make it like this. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, there was like we already talked about Steppenwolf, like how he didn't look good. Even the Parademons, I thought like there was a couple of them were just
Yeah,
like,
right.
No, I mean they were well made. It's just that design choices weren't very good. Like they for what they were, like they looked good, but it was just like something that like
So
you put
okay,
up on like a demo reel.
they were not nearly as bad as the Putty Patrollers in Suicide Squad.
No.
Though.
Putty Patrollers.
What were you saying? Go ahead.
two things I want to call back to Batman versus Superman. So the first dream sequence he has, he's in the desert, and I guess they're hinting at injustice.
Yeah, they hinted at an Injustice storyline, correct? And then they also hinted at they had the Omega symbol, so they're talking about Darkseid.
But they had the parademons in that too.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They did.
Shit, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Alright,
And
props
then-
to that.
I don't remember.
And then the second callback was when the Flash was on the cosmic treadmill and he was going back in time.
Yeah, and he was like, "Lois is the key."
So I guess
Oh, yeah.
that's what he's calling. I'm trying to figure out the second one. I'm guessing they're still calling to the Injustice timeline.
Well, for Justice League 2, I don't even know what they're doing for that. That's not even announced anymore. They took that off the schedule.
No, just Injustice timeline
Oh,
of like
yeah.
Superman becoming
Wait, are they
evil.
gonna do an Injustice
Oh,
movie?
God,
How would
really?
they even do that?
I don't know.
Wait, would that be this different
Uh,
canon, right? Different canon.
Different canon probably than
Okay.
the games. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, different
Definitely.
canon than the games, most definitely.
I'm just like, how would they fit in an Injustice
Maybe
movie?
the Justice movie would be. What
I
we
still
wanted.
It would be
say-
really cool, but it's just
I'm
it's
just
so
wondering how they would-
difficult.
yeah, how would they fit that in? Because they would have to bend all this movies.
It's just it's so difficult because we don't know enough of the characters.
They would almost have to be like.
I
like-
still
like-
say
like
if they did a Darkest
spin-off.
Night fucking timeline, that would be the best.
There's too many.
Flashpoint.
There's so many great DC
Flashpoint.
stories, but it's so hard to
Rebirth.
do those great DC stories without first establishing who the characters are, so you care about the characters and what they're doing. And I forgot one thing to mention too. I know you mentioned how much you liked the Amazon flashback scene. I loved seeing the Green Lantern in it.
I know.
That
I
was
was
so
so
cool.
No,
hyped.
yeah, we made.
I was
I
so
made a
hyped.
little
Yeah.
thing about
And it-
like. Go.
I
You're
just-
more hyped.
I just. It reiterates how much I hope that they handle the Green Lantern property really well.
I agree.
Because it need it, and I want, and I saw that all we really saw was a hammer being created. But you can do anything you want with that ring, and I am tired of giant fists and big hammers,
But
and
also,
circles.
It works awesome.
Yeah.
All right, when you're fighting.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't come up with like.
But it could
A
be
yo-yo
very,
spiked ball.
like what I was picturing. It's very hard to do this like in words, but I was picturing like him just if it really can be anything, he can create some sort of oblong shape that brings two warriors together, smushes them, moves on. Maybe a spike comes out of the ground here. It's just matter creation. So you can do anything.
It sounds so silly.
But it's the greatest weapon in the universe, right? So I mean,
yeah.
it's supposed to be badass and OP.
What I was saying was just like I like how they hinted at
Oh yeah,
like
that'd be fun.
how
Or
the
change your
lanterns
blood
work
into-
with creators because you saw one die and the
Yeah,
ring
the
flies
ring.
off the finger.
Yeah,
and runs.
I was all over that. That was. So admittedly, it was basically fangasming.
Right.
I'm not. It's not artistically great, but I was loving it. Zeus. Oh,
Zeus is pretty cool.
See, but that's just your thing.
I know it's true. It's true.
A part
Thanks,
of
guys.
me almost wished that like we saw another character added to the league because I remember when they first announced Aquaman, it was not Zeus. It was like unite the. It was.
That is Zeus.
When they first had Aquaman, it was like a poster and it said "Unite the Seven," and I thought there would be 7 people for the Justice League, but it was only 6. I would have loved to seen like a Green Lantern or a Shazam or even a Martian
Shazam would
Manhunter
be
or
cool.
something like
Shazam
that.
would
That's
Cool.
I really want them to do a white
That'd be another funny guy,
white
though.
Martian storyline.
Yeah.
because I feel like would be the best way to tie in this alien Martian from Mars.
Oh.
Martian
But
would be cool too.
I mean, it's simply not in there. But anyway, so you guys have any other thoughts about the characters themselves and how you felt about them? Aqua Bro or anyone? He's Aqua Bro. He's not Aquaman. He's Aqua Bro.
Aqua, bro.
Mark had tweeted something about Jason Momoa's performance, and I was like, oh, because he was like, oh, I guess we never really questioned Jason Momoa's performance because all we ever saw him do as Khal Drogo was grunt and fuck, and that's kind of true. But in this, I wasn't too upset with his performance.
I wasn't upset with it, but again, they didn't give him much to do. He got first thing. I thought his fight scene with Steppenwolf in like the mother box. I thought
yeah.
that was a bad fight scene.
Yeah,
I didn't think
That
it
was
was that
over
great.
pretty quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was also like it's underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've honestly thought underwater he would have like a better like,
advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he would do better.
You
Yeah.
think, yeah.
He just kind of like he was like the rest of them. He was just like.
Bum,
And
ba-da.
I also thought it. I don't know. Like I thought it was weird how they had to like take the water out to communicate. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like
I think that was done.
Yeah.
Like, they would have some way to talk.
You're
no,
probably
I think
right.
that was done
For our
just to
benefit.
save
Yeah,
to save
Probably,
money
but you're
and for our
probably right. They
benefit.
would have something.
No, but yeah, I thought like they would have some. I don't know.
Some sort of mental
something.
communication.
That they would at least be able to talk or something.
Yeah.
Most definitely they could have. I just think that was done to save like money and just to make it a a bit easier.
I don't
Right.
know though because they had to make that special effects where like
Like,
the
where
water
they
goes
created the
out
orb
and
of
then
air.
have the barrier
Uh-huh.
around them.
Hey, man.
I don't know. Well, anyway, but Darren, you or Evan, you guys have any other thoughts about the characters themselves that you want to touch
Yeah,
on?
good diet, maybe.
I think one more thing I could say about Aquaman is like he never really put up a fight with Steppenwolf. Say like, Wonder
Yeah.
Woman could
You're not
hold
really
her
sure how
own.
Mm.
Like she had like
During the end,
battle
I felt
back
like he
and
was
forth.
getting a good. He got like a good stab with his trident in the mid-rift.
He was more of like a Nietzsche, yes.
It's a lot of chip
yeah,
damage.
I-
It's a lot of chip damage.
I really
They nerfed
never
it recently.
I never got
Yeah.
the impression that he was that skilled of a fighter or like that much of a force to be reckoned with, especially
Well,
compared to
don't
Wonder
forget,
Woman.
We don't really know what his
Yeah.
fighting
He's not in the
experience real.
But the thing is,
All
he
we
was in
know-
the ocean
Yeah, yeah,
and
he
he
was,
still
and he
got
still
his ass
was.
kicked.
Well,
That's
he was
his
drunk.
environment.
He was drunk.
Yeah, from what like a couple whiskeys.
He drank the whole thing.
No, he
He
went
got
like
that
he
bomb.
still had some and then he threw it away.
Look, he's a lightweight. Aquaman's
No,
a
but
lightweight.
yeah,
He's like,
like
oh,
we don't.
Can you imagine? That would have made that scene so much better if he was like, oh fuck!
If he was drunk fighting,
really strong.
that'd be pretty dope.
yeah.
That
We
would
don't
have
really
been
know.
nice.
Like all we saw
Like,
was
that would've
just
been actually
rescuing
funny.
people.
Fish out of water here. Yeah.
What are you saying?
I said all we really know of like his heroism is just him rescuing people from like rough seas. So like
But no, yeah.
we
he's
don't
like
know
the-
if there's like a black manta.
Well, that's not the point. The whole point is that we never got the impression that he was that good friend. Like, remember when Superman kept Superman like, bye, and he never showed up again.
bitch.
So
No, yeah, but I mean, I like the angle that they kind of took with him that he's like, I don't want to be the king. I just want to, I want to surf. I'm like, I'm fine with that. That's kind of cool.
Aqua Bro.
There was one moment where, because I think that there could have been a lot better, like visual choreography with Aquaman's fighting. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
There
it's
was
kinda messy.
one little moment that
Choreography
I
wasn't
really
that
liked
great.
where he was plummeting from the skies and he used a parademon to surf his way to safety, and I'm like, guys, I want more of that.
Yeah,
I want more of that
Give me
fun.
more visual
Yeah,
motifs.
yeah.
No, I know what scene, and I love that. I love that.
Let him talk
Yeah,
to
no, when
fish.
he was fighting in the sky, I was like, oh, it's like he's swimming. Ooh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's like he's it's cool.
No, but I really like how he was just like he wasn't. I felt like he wasn't taking that parademon fight seriously. He was just kind of like having fun, like, yeah,
Yeah, he
all
was
right,
having fun.
bro.
Maui.
I saw it, dude.
He was Maui. Yeah.
I remember you always told me, Adam, is that Marvel is men.
Oh,
trying
no,
to be
so
gods.
yeah, Marvel, are men trying to be gods, and then DC is gods trying to be men, or something like
And
that.
I feel like that that was happening here. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to be a man.
Aquaman's trying to just be. I don't want to be king. I just want to be save like.
Yeah,
Wanna
I
have
just wanna
fun,
hang
bro.
out beneath the in bikini bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cyborg is the same way. He's like, I just want to be a normal dude. I don't want to have this responsibility.
Right.
I think that while I don't necessarily I'm not like comfortable with all the character like choices they made with Aquaman or like, what was it? Like
Awkward, bro.
what?
Speak up.
Am I not speaking up enough?
Yeah.
All right.
Not picking up too well.
So if I might not agree with all the choices, I think there's enough depth in there that you can play around with some of the with these characters and kind of flesh them out if we ever get their individual movies.
Yeah, I definitely think that the individual movies
just-
will help out, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel substantial in this film.
Wait, what do you mean?
The characters themselves, it's very just
Right.
like, oh, they're there, they have like their archetypes, but
Right.
we don't learn too much about them
Right. We
to
need
really
to see
get me
more.
invested.
It would be hard to like. They had
It is hard.
They had to introduce like 4 characters.
That's the route they
I know.
tried to go.
Yeah.
That was part of the problem I had with this movie because I remember, like, I checked my phone, like, we were like,
Yeah, you checked it a lot.
Like, we were more than an
Oh my
hour
God.
into the movie, and like, I was like, we're still introducing guys and trying to get them on the team. I'm just like, like, get to the matrix, get to the conflict, like.
Get through
Like,
the
I don't mind.
Okay, so here's one that I know is gonna be a bit controversial. How would you guys feel about Superman in this film?
Yeah. Okay.
No, we
that's
already
the big
established
one.
that. He
No,
was
no,
he was
there's a
portrayed
lot
as
more we
like
can talk about
OP
this.
as fuck.
He's a plot device, but I also don't like Henry Cavill. I think I finally decided.
You think it's Henry
Well,
himself?
it's not just him, but I don't
His-
like him.
His pretty face.
I don't.
He's got such a nice
The
chin.
filter.
it was his mustache, wasn't it?
Hashtag no filter.
No filter. Even when he was being the Superman that I would like him to be, in those small moments where Joss
Like
Whedon
Lois
was
Lane.
here, I guess it was not. It didn't feel right to me. He was not good at portraying that.
They didn't feel genuine.
It didn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
it did not feel genuine. I don't like Henry Cavill.
I guess because
Yeah, it kind of felt like he's being
of
dickhead.
the mustache.
Yeah.
No, I don't
feel like
think it
he
was just
couldn't.
that.
He didn't express a lot of emotions. 'Cause
Yeah,
I felt like in Batman and Superman, there was a lot of like you can see like his inner conflict of being like, what? How the fuck do I make these people
right,
happy?
actually. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I think if he like, I mean, like, I think what they were trying to do, like, with him not emoting a lot in the first movie in Batman v Superman, like, because he's like, oh,
yeah, right.
He's like, it was a lot of brooding
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
who am
I
I?
took- yeah, I understood it there.
But at the same time, I think it almost would have helped if he did kind of like emote a little bit more here, like, holy shit, I'm back. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But like I said before the podcast started, I didn't like his fucking weird graggly voice he was doing. Maybe that's because he was just came back to life and his vocal cords were still like
Yeah, he
Right.
had
booting
fun.
up.
Right. Science.
He hasn't drank in a while, you know.
Yeah.
Parks.
Parts.
But,
But like, I like the little callback where he says, "Do you bleed?" Like how Batman said that to him.
Oh, did he?
I just want to say I love that entire scene overall, where he
Oh,
first
yeah.
gets out and like the league is like, oh god, like he's not on our side right now, and he just like
No, that was
mows
a good
them
scene.
all down. I thought that was such a fantastic scene.
When Flash was running and
That
you
was
just
my favorite
see
part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
You
That
just
was my
see his
favorite.
eyes
he
just
was-
Yeah, that
like
was pretty
turn.
scary. That was pretty scary.
I was
Yeah,
like-
oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
And
scary.
Barry's like,
especially for Flash, because like
No, yeah.
up
for-
until this point,
nobody
no one
does
else.
that. Yeah, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
entered
And
my
it
space.
was just the right amount of speed for Superman too, because
Exactly,
it was
yeah.
still Flash seemed a little faster.
Yeah,
but
like,
it was
he was
not
untrained.
Yeah,
he,
it
like,
was not
like-
comfortable.
he was just barely kind of like,
Right.
oh,
I
fuck.
thought that was
Like,
very nicely done.
It was
visually.
definitely like the only reason Superman could keep up with him was just because of Superman's
yeah.
like sheer just no, not like sheer like that, just like sheer of training. Like he's
Or a
been
power.
doing that power,
Yeah.
and then you could just see that Barry was just barely able to get by because he was just more like sporadic and faster.
Trying to get away. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, oh crap.
You
This has
could
never happened
clearly
before.
see
Yeah.
that
Like-
Barry is like this much faster than Superman right now.
Mhm.
I'm making a distance between my thumb and index
It's
finger.
not very
Yeah,
far.
Mhm.
and then
It's not that
Approximately.
far.
and I even liked how he faced off against Wonder Woman too, where they almost had like that strength exchange. Because to me, that was like the first time you ever see Wonder Woman like really push herself, and then Superman's like, "Yeah, that was cool." Bam! Like
No, I like
head
it.
butted her into
No,
the
not
ground.
even like
He
that.
spiked her
She
into the-
fucking
Yeah, yeah.
picked her up and
Yeah.
then just went boom.
I was like, oh.
That was an
Because
injustice
don't
finisher.
forget,
Yeah.
like the whole fucking Wonder Woman story arc is she is a god killer. What is
Right.
Superman?
He's more than a god.
I
Yeah.
am born
Right.
like all-
At least our mortal
So
ones.
SpongeBob.
So the thing is, I really like the idea that Batman was talking about how like Superman is that ray of hope and is that he's the leader of the team.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
What I was gonna say is I like that idea because I that's who Superman is to me, and I think that's what he embodies. But to me, they didn't earn that. They didn't earn getting there. Like this whole death thing, and like him coming back to life, and then like he's this ray of hope. He's the leader. It's like, is he really? What has he done? Like we saw him in Man of Steel. He destroyed a city, killed the last of his kind, and then instead of saving people, he kissed his girlfriend. And then like,
was he new to Metropolis as of Man of Steel, or as? I mean, how did they portray it in the movie? Was it origin story, hey, I'm going to now save people, or origin story, I've been at this for a while?
Oh, no, it was the former.
I'm going to save people kind of thing.
It was the former.
I can
like
see the problem
that was his first like battle.
How much time between...
Actually,
hold on. How much time was between Man of Steel and Batman?
I forget. But it wasn't too long, though.
Why does Superman like lack emotion? Because he was raised by...
people.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Plot hole.
Oh, maybe he's
because that was always the
alien
thing. Because
tendency.
he was raised by these two like normal, very warm people, so he kind of acts like the.
Perhaps it's biological.
Maybe
it's not
just who he is,
biological.
I don't know.
But
It's how he's written. That's the issue.
Yeah, no, that just seems contrived.
I'm trying to
say.
save
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That just seems like they wanted him to be like that because they wanted to like push that angle.
Zack Snyder had a vision.
God, yeah.
So it's good that they went there because that's what Superman should have like been trying to aspire to. But how they didn't earn that at all.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about this fucking resurrection.
Oh, go ahead, please, Ethan, go ahead.
When he becomes
The
Jesus.
movie, like, okay, so we get to this point, like, in the movie where it's like, the villain is getting all the cubes. He's got the GameCube, he's got the PS2, and the Xbox. And
Triple threat.
and it's like, how are they gonna do this? Because like it felt like the whole theme of the movie, like we saw with the Lord of the Rings flashback, like we have to come together. We have to be together.
Unity to fight
we
unity.
Need unity to do this. But then halfway through the movie, they decide. We can't do this. I don't even fucking know you.
Did they even try?
No, they didn't.
There was the one fight scene.
There was the one.
There was the one fight scene, and they were.
And they lost.
Wait, hold on. I just want to point out, did anyone laugh during that first fight scene when Cyborg goes to save his dad and he's like, "Dad," I was like, "What are you doing?"
That is your dad. Yes.
And then Cyborg just looking at him when it's happening, like. And they had this conversation. I was like, "Come on, guys."
The shot was weird because he was just like, "Dad."
Yeah, it was just like.
It's like, "Hello, son."
Son.
No, yeah, because like thematically, it was just like it seemed like the movie was trying to push this angle of let's unite to fight a common enemy. Let's come together.
Yeah.
In these dark times, but instead it's just like we push a button, and it was really easy too, right? Like let's just dig up Superman and fucking touch him with the cube. And, like there wasn't really it seemed really easy. They could have done it at any time. They didn't know.
I honestly enjoyed the Flashes and Cyborgs.
You're leaving? All right, Evan.
Bye.
Wait, Evan, come here. Evan, come
You
here.
have to say your final.
Say your final.
Evan has to go
your final thoughts.
Exam.
Evan has to run.
I thought it was better than BVS, but not as good as Wonder Woman. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I wish I saw Coco.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Have a good night, Evan.
Later, Evan.
Good night, Evan.
See ya.
Later, Evan. I love you.
But no, yeah, they bring back this Deus Ex Superman.
Yeah, Deus, yeah.
I just like how they keep going back to like Kryptonian technologies, like
The best.
the shit.
The best.
No,
he totally
also,
ruined the movie.
Steppenwolf was like, "Oh, it's the Kryptonians." So like, is Kryptonians known? Like, does he know what the fuck they can do? Because if he knows what they could do, I don't think he would have been so cocky.
Maybe not under a yellow sun.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is slightly different.
I felt like it would have been so much better if like they just barely beat Steppenwolf together, just like fuck, and then like they got the cubes, and then they realized like, oh wait, maybe this cube revives Cyborg. We could do it with him. Like if it was at the end, I felt like it would have felt so much better. Like.
If they revive Superman at the end?
Yeah.
As a last-ditch effort, where like they all did their best and they got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I would have preferred it if they beat him and then they realized in the aftermath like.
But I feel like that would have been
right. So the story.
Okay.
I feel like they would have just pulled the whole fucking Marvel. Oh, the team's got to get beat, and then they got to become stronger through this defeat. I felt like they would have.
That's not a Marvel thing. That's just like a general like
Marvel fucking does that
thematic
in every goddamn movie. It
narrative
pisses
thing.
me off.
I mean, that's the whole. You have the characters have to
Guardians,
evolve
narrative
somehow.
thing.
Hello.
Lock the door. Oh,
What?
Ethan, help him lock the door.
No, just it's fine. Just go. Just go.
Like,
It's fine.
like that. No, Marvel fucking does that in every movie, and it pisses me
It
off.
happens in like all movies though.
I don't give a shit.
It
Marvel
happened
does
in
it.
Empire Strikes Back.
No,
that
yeah, that's
happens
just-
in
that's
Ride.
just the hero's
That's a
journey.
thematic. Yeah, that's the hero's journey.
I don't give a shit. I hate that.
Oh my God, Matt.
No, but it's
If
just-
you want like blatant me hating Marvel, I'll admit that's that.
This is the main problem with me at the movie. They bring the heavy hitters, you know, like, oh look, Islamophobia, mass shootings, but don't worry, you can revive Superman whenever you want. Okay.
I don't fucking think they needed
Like,
the Flash
okay.
to touch the cube at the
Yeah.
precise moment.
Like-
That's not something you can fucking do at any moment.
I
Let's be
guess.
honest.
I mean,
I guess.
that's just like putting a little bit of garnish on it. That's not really like
It's difficult, but we'll do it.
it's difficult, but we just need like a little bit of juice.
It's
I
difficult,
wish-
but we had a discussion for 30 seconds on how to solve the problem,
I wish
and then we
they
solved it.
would have
Yeah.
messed up a couple of times. But
No, but I feel like it would have been. I feel like if keeping the movie the same, if they revived Superman and he was Bizarro, that would have been really good.
Oh, that would
would've
be
been
so
really
much
cool.
fun.
That would have been interesting.
because
for
that
sure.
would have confused
Yeah.
so many people. Because who the
I know.
fuck
I'm
knows
interested in the character.
Bizarro?
I know, but I mean,
Who knows? Who knows Steppenwolf?
But I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like audiences would have accepted it because it's like, okay, Superman may not come back correctly, and
Right.
like he comes back.
Me
we don't-
am
we
Bizarro,
don't
me
have to
not
say
Bizarro.
Bizarro, but like we could say like, oh, he's clearly fucked up.
Right.
We gotta, but it's kind of funny.
Hey, you made me treading on some.
So, I think that plays into something, and I'll go to you, Jake, because you seem like you want to say something. But
Oh,
I think, I'm sorry. I think for me the biggest issue with this film, and I never thought I'd be saying this, but I feel like it's simply not. It's too short. They like gloss over things
Really?
very like.
Wasn't it like 2.5
What is this
hours?
gonna
No,
now
it was less than 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Wow.
is this now
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be
well,
another?
But-
the extended edition helps fix.
But that's
problems?
that's the problem. You can't do this whole thing
You
where
can't
like,
rely-
no, it's okay.
This isn't
The
video
extended
games.
edition is what we really want to put. I was
Don't
like,
worry, guys, it's real.
that's the real
Like,
product. It's
no,
like, no.
the product is what I fucking paid $12 for
Yeah.
to see.
See,
Yeah, the big
like,
screen.
yeah. So I agree with you that I felt the length as well. I was like, all right, let's wrap this up, kind of
No,
thing.
because it felt
But-
long to me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, nothing that happened was just like it was just like things kept on happening. I was like, okay, but I don't really care. Like, I almost wish that there was more stuff that got me more invested into the film, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like more human moments.
More human moments, or just like learning
Better
more about the
executed things that they
characters.
already did.
Even like even during the final battle, I was just kind of like,
I was kind of checking out.
whatever.
Really?
I was like,
I was
okay, they're gonna-
invested.
I was having fun.
It's just that when they raise Superman, you know, well, they're gonna win.
I was
Yeah.
annoyed. I was
like,
annoyed.
He's busting
yes.
around,
Yes.
like he's gonna win.
And then he went to go get the civilians.
He won the battle for them.
Yeah.
There was barely any
Yeah.
teamwork in terms of like
Yeah.
You're right.
them
there we
really
go.
trying to take down.
Yeah.
He made Steppenwolf look like tissue paper.
Yeah,
I know,
he
like,
he beat up
completely- it
Steppenwolf.
was just
He
like,
saved all
really?
the. He could have done that on his own.
Yeah, no, I was about to say like, him
Yeah.
and maybe Cyborg. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cyborg
Yeah,
needed,
they needed him.
reverse.
Yeah.
But even then, I bet Superman probably could have just been like,
Rip it apart.
Just rip,
Yeah.
yeah, brute force it.
Like it.
You're right.
It
We need more
wasn't
teamwork.
Anticlimax.
And I suppose it's like a cool thing to show just how like how they showed with the scene with the Justice League in terms of how powerful Superman is. I feel like that's cool, but at the same time, to Ethan's
You
point,
can't
like
do it
the
too much. Like-
it ruins not only the
tension.
tension, but it ruins like what are you trying to say with this one? What is the theme?
like, don't worry, Superman's gonna come and save you.
That's
like,
that's what I.
fuck off.
I like that you pointed that out because it begins, like you said, it begins with all these like
Like
real
this-
world current topics.
Yeah, like very fraction groups.
and you think
yeah.
like maybe it's gonna be like, yeah, we have to join together.
Yeah,
and
it seems
solve
like the
problem.
obvious thing.
Mhm.
But like,
No, it's like no, we have to wait for.
we have to wait until we can revive Superman.
Yeah.
wait
So-
for
Mhm.
outside intervention.
Or get out of jail
God
free
or
card.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Either or.
Either or will do.
Mhm.
But I mean that was one thing. It just like Superman, and how he plays in the film. It just is very odd. Very like as Austin said, it's a plot device, but at the same time, it's like.
They try to make him funny.
Is it really?
Sometimes.
His costume was so bad.
Like
It was so bad.
that bit, like when him and Cyborg like blew up the thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could have really enjoyed that scene if they had earned it.
Yeah.
But like it was
I
just like
fucking
another
laughed.
thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's funny because, like I said
Yeah.
before, both of them died and have come back. So it's just like, oh, it's pretty funny. They're both like, let's.
So I
let's both
definitely
live.
because that was
Right.
that was one of those scenes where like Superman's actually being kind of human right now. I
Uh-huh.
kind of like this.
Right, good
like,
idea.
He was like his acting was like genuinely like, oh, he's laughing. This is
Mhm.
kind of cool. Like But no.
How did you guys feel about in terms of Superman? Like the reason why he's brought back is because of Lois Lane, and then how he's hanging out in the cornfield with his mom. How did you guys feel about that?
The reason?
It was a good way. It was a good way.
Calmed him down.
No,
yeah,
it
brought
makes
him back.
sense. Makes
I
sense.
mean,
It makes sense. That was like a very good
I think it makes sense. I personally don't think they have any chemistry at all, and the romance is not earned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
I don't understand why
Amy
they're
Adams-
apparently almost married or something, or are married.
Amy Adams is such a huge
Hey,
talent.
yeah,
and yet,
fucking. There was the
Arrival was a great movie. Go
Arrival
watch
was a
that.
Oh,
fantastic
watch
movie.
Arrival. Watch
Go
Arrival, please.
That was a great film.
the fucking scene where he asks about the ring because she's clearly wearing it, and he's like, "Oh, am I taking that as like a yes? Like you accepted my proposal that I was gonna do?" And they fucking did say that in the movie.
It
And I
was
waiting
a
for
scene that was
scene.
released online. It was
Oh.
not in the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
News to me.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon was like, "Oh, it's fucking gay."
Fucking
I
good.
don't know.
Take that out.
Marriage.
I beat my wife.
Is there anything else? All right, so we kind of talked a lot about almost everything in the film. Is there anything in particular that any of you guys want to touch on before we kind of, I guess, wrap things
It was
up?
a good movie. Go see it,
Besides
please.
that, I mean, specific things.
I kind
Um,
of
just
like
want them to
the
make
little
more.
the little humory bits. As much.
Oh, I really enjoyed the Flash and Cyborg's little graveyard
Grave digging
shenanigans.
Yeah, that was. It's
Yeah.
nice to break up the film a bit.
Mm.
I didn't think it was super over the top. All of the little jokes, especially like Batman. He's basically like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Like always.
I didn't think the quips were like over the top, like you said. I just thought a lot of them I didn't think were funny.
You were
But
the thirstiest girl he ever saw.
yeah, but
Right.
like that's I think that's really subjective. Humor is very subjective.
I felt like they were just
The only
kind of like
that-
just throwing like a shit ton to see that stuff kind of thing.
My favorite character is Superman's mom. I relate to her. I like her. Like she seems like a nice person.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is there anything you also you something want?
Wonder Woman I like going into this. Wonder Woman was the best part of the DC. What EU?
EU. That's what they're calling it.
EU.
And
European Union.
I think I'm wondering if that's still the case for me. It might be. Wonder Woman is awesome.
I mean, who would replace
I'm
her?
calling that now.
I don't
from
know.
now
That's a
on.
good point. That's a good point. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Wonder Woman is still the best part. She is so badass, and it makes me just
You
so
can
good.
tell that Gal plays her so well.
absolutely.
And
I
she
love
really
cast.
embodies the character. I
Mhm.
think.
Agreed.
I think what we do for our final scores is we'll rank our favorite characters from best to worst, and then like the overall score.
That might take too long.
I'm. If you want to do that, you
I
can.
will like
That's
explaining.
Steppenwolf.
No,
No.
just name your favorite character.
Yeah.
The favorite
Yeah.
If you want to do that, you can. But is there
Nameless
anything?
Green Lantern?
Is there anything else specific that you guys want to touch on?
Died.
Yeah, go ahead,
It's
Darren.
just when Cyborg was introduced and he was able to fly, that was something different that like
Oh.
really threw
Mhm.
me off because you see him in Teen Titans and
Right.
you see him in Injustice and like he's just this ground-based character. But
Right.
the fact that he could do more, he could have easily been Iron Man with like his supersonic
I agree.
blast, but like no, they didn't do that. He was
Mhm.
actually more of like a hand-to-hand fighter. So it
Mhm.
was a pretty cool take that they
Mhm.
switched up Cyborg too.
Mhm.
Cool.
I even like the side they had of him as a character in terms of like we don't know how much of him is with the Mother Box
Yeah.
side and like
Right.
tied to Apocalypse
Yeah,
and Dark
he was
Side
weird.
and how much of he's on ours. I even
sure
like that a
that'll
little
come
bit.
Mhm.
But yeah, do you guys have any other things you want to touch on before we get into our final thoughts?
No, I like what they did.
I feel like we've
Cyborg.
talked
Yeah.
basically about
Yeah.
everything. I mean, unless you want to go into the final battle and talk about that. But.
No,
No,
because
I
apparently
didn't think it was
everyone was
that bad.
It's
checking
just
out.
Superman showed up
The
and
strange
it was
Russian
over.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was in there.
He moved
I
the
didn't
whole
mind it.
building. with
You wanna know
people in it.
fucking
was so
something?
obvious.
You wanna know something, man? That fucking bug spray scene didn't amount to nothing, and it pissed me off because I just
Right.
realized
You're
that.
right. Yeah, that really could have been something.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's
at
like a
home, I
really
stood
cute
up.
thing.
Right, right.
Like,
Stuns
so
him
she
just
does it,
enough, and then somebody
bury
comes
it
in.
up,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
thought
why
of
did
that.
they do that?
Joss
Just-
Whedon probably did it.
What the fuck? Like, they spent so much time with them.
Right.
You could, what the fuck?
I just realized that. I just realized that.
That was
I'm
a
really
good
sad.
catch. Yeah,
Yeah, good catch.
So let me ask you this: in your if you had the chance, would you have liked to have seen Zach's like only version, like without the Whedonisms in it.
Like, maybe.
I almost wish I could
yeah,
at
maybe.
first as many problems as Zach
shit.
has.
There was also the fucking when they introduced Barry and there was just a K-pop playing in the background.
That
I'm
was
like,
funny.
all right,
Taking you out of
obnoxious
it,
K-pop.
Oh, that was
Nope,
funny.
still going. It's still going in the background,
Really?
guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
I missed
that's,
that.
That's something that made me not
He's a
like
kid,
the Flash
he's a
character.
kid.
Yeah, no, he's
I was
Rick
like,
and
oh
Morty.
god, he's pandering so hard to this
Yeah,
crowd.
no, you can see Rick and Morty behind him. It's like, oh.
I was
I
like,
I saw bits of it, but I
hate
felt like
it.
it was just
I
like
hate
just in the background to be like a call to it, but it wasn't like on every like on his screen.
Yeah, nobody was there, and it was just
Um,
like, okay, all right.
What else? There was one other thing I wanted to touch on, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
oh no, I can't remember exactly. It was. You go think about your thing, because I can't remember what I was.
I was just gonna ask, what did you guys think about the post-credit scenes?
Oh,
I liked it.
What were
The
they?
the, the,
I like
the
the
race
race.
again.
I-
There's
was a
the
very
Flash
humorous-
versus
It's an iconic
Superman
moment.
race.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought that was
iconic.
fine. That's
It's
as
yeah.
awesome.
The
That's
eternal question.
iconic.
Right.
Iconic.
And it was
but-
handled well. I thought
Yeah.
But
Superman was
definitely-
portrayed well.
But definitely, Flash would beat him.
Fully
Yeah.
developed. Yes,
Technically,
Technically, yeah, he should.
he
Right.
should.
Yeah.
I do think that
But even in
Superman's
the-
costume still looks terrible.
But even in the context that we were talking about, the Flash seems to be a little bit faster.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Even though its running form is terrible.
Listen,
Superman
you
was
don't run
flying.
at Mach
Superman
50.
Superman was flying though in
You
the
got
race.
duck
Oh, that
hands.
sounds like
That's
cheating.
bullshit. Yeah, it's cheating.
He's like,
You gotta okay. So for those of you who might not have realized, this is the Long Run podcast. It originated from a group of people that ran distance.
Yep.
Yeah, cross
So we
country.
just
And
distract,
everyone
yeah.
in this room actually.
We are
is
extremely
critical
critical
of this running form.
And it was bad.
We are savages.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Our knees have seen a lot of miles.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
And so, what did you guys think about the second post-credit scene with Lex Luthor and
I
Deathstroke and setting
hope-
up the Legion? I,
I-
think it's the Legion of Doom. I think
yes,
that's what it's
I
called.
really
Right.
want them to do Legion
Yeah.
of Doom and just make that
really
dorky
funny.
fucking
Yeah.
swamp hideout and be like,
Yeah.
now at the Legion of Doom.
I really don't like Jesse Eisenberg.
I agree.
Yeah.
I exactly.
like him bald just does not look
It's so
right.
silly.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know.
just
He's
looks
really
so
silly.
dumb. Yeah, like he just
Like, how the fuck did he get out? I was really,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you.
How did he, Adam?
Yeah.
I
Money
was
is
really
how.
expecting for him to like come up and like do some like weird like, bah, 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 and then like get out, but nope,
And then
it's
he
just a random.
sits out.
It's just already, he's out already.
Lex is out. Like he goes into the vent.
I won't miss Jesse Eisenberg should he leave.
I
don't miss
As
him.
talented as an actor as he seems to have been in
Yeah,
other
no,
films,
he is-
I don't think he's a good Lex Luthor at all.
Yeah,
I understand
I
what they were
still
trying to.
think he plays it like a Joker character.
He does.
Yeah.
I think what they were trying to go for is that, like, this isn't like, Lex Luthor before was like, this is the old businessman,
Right.
Yeah, but now
the
he's-
crony.
he's a
Now it's
techie,
like the
yes,
new
tech
tech.
startup.
Yeah,
you're right.
Silicon Valley.
That's what they were trying to go for, but
But
it just.
doesn't
Right.
work.
Mark Zuckerberg.
From what I've
Yeah.
heard,
Like
the
this.
Gene Hackman Lex Luthor from the original Superman movies, he was a bit more silly than the businessman that we know.
Right.
So maybe they were trying to channel that,
Maybe.
but I don't know. Well, it didn't work well.
I
I
wait,
want to
it's-
I
see.
feel like it
Also,
would've- I don't know.
also, we haven't seen him in like a good movie,
A good-
like a on like a
Like where he's
massive
the villain.
note, like on a massive
Jesse
like
or
scale.
Lex?
Lex, like
Lex.
his Lex Luthor.
Like where
We
he's
have-
just being Lex.
Yeah, we haven't seen it in
Like
a
it's always tying into
critically.
something else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
And he had like these really skimpily clad women next to him
Yeah.
on the that
Yeah.
were like guards, I guess.
They're like, oh,
Yeah, like oh, I got a gun. I don't know.
So
I-
I'm
it's weird.
curious to see if they can flesh his character out too.
This
And
you
like
know
you
what? I
said-
think Jesse Eisenberg should leave. Like, if you're listening
Ow.
to this, Jesse, get the fuck out.
Sorry.
You're not.
Damn,
Motherfucker,
damn,
Jesse
you
Eisenberg.
Kid.
I like you.
Get out.
I like Lex Luthor is like a villain that can go and give Superman a run for his money. So
It's true.
obviously, like it'd be like as Austin said, it would be nice to see him in his own film.
Yeah.
To see like maybe Jesse can do his
Mhm.
maybe he can like deliver the character properly in that sense.
Because there was some things from his Lex Luthor that I liked from Batman v Superman, like the underlining
I
like
just-
twitches and stuff when like he
Okay.
got something wrong and you saw him like get pissed
Right.
off, like he was just like in the monologue that he was doing and he messes it up and you can see how annoyed he got when he messed it up because he
Yeah.
wasn't perfect,
Alright.
and that's what I want to see, like this perfect person,
Slipping
but then
through the
under
cracks.
slip through the
Okay.
cracks of being
Yeah.
messed up.
All right.
I'd say give him some leeway because like Jesse Eisenberg is one character as a Lex Luthor, but like they're taking like a whole new take on all the characters. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
That is one thing to consider.
hmm
Okay.
Like
See how
a
they interact.
lighthearted Flash, you got a serious Cyborg.
Yeah.
Basically, like
Only said booyah once.
and it was just really subtle.
And I hit Adam so fucking hard when he said that because I was so excited.
The thing with Lex Luthor is that like I feel like there hasn't been a sentence he's ever said that hasn't involved the word God.
Yeah.
He is, every goddamn time he speaks, the word God comes out.
Yeah.
He's like
said it
God,
right
God.
So I
Kiss in a
mean,
jar, call it
Yeah.
something.
Call it applesauce.
Call it
Yeah.
applesauce.
No,
something
it's
like that.
the
grandma's apple.
Grandma,
no, it's
whatever.
the grandma's
Grandma's
peach
urine.
lemonade or something.
Yeah, whatever.
No, it's grandma's lemonade or something.
Something like
Alright.
that. But anyway,
God,
Jake, did you remember what the thing that you were gonna bring up is, or?
What? No, I think it was that Superman makes me really salty because he's fast. He's as fast as the Flash, and I get really salty. As
Stronger than
No.
Wonder Woman, faster than Flash.
Yeah, I just get so salty that he
No,
makes all the other
no,
characters obsolete.
isn't Flash
Better
at
at
his top
calculus than
speed
Cyborg.
really faster?
In the
It's
comics, yes.
Oh yeah, but
No
it's-
one's
it's
faster
just-
than the Flash. In
I
the
mean, I'm
comics.
The only
joking,
problem with
but-
Superman is that he's just one guy.
It's
That's his.
it doesn't matter.
I know, but that's what it's supposed to be. Like his main weakness is that he's
Can't
one
be
guy.
everywhere.
He handled it just
I
fine.
know. Yeah.
I think it's okay
Scion.
when Superman's kind of like,
Scion.
okay, I'm holding myself back. It's the world of cardboard. I gotta
Mm.
hold myself back.
No,
Mm.
Henry Cavill should play Scion.
That would be
The
fantastic
initial worm,
because he's
yeah,
perfect.
exactly.
And
No,
this is a worm reference.
Because
Oh, okay.
actually when I think of Scion, when like the
Right.
this is a tangent. I'm sorry.
All right.
But,
Can we
I'm sorry,
later?
I'm
later,
sorry, I'm
later.
sorry.
So I guess we'll wrap things up here.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll go around the room. You give your final thoughts on the film and your score or whatever, however scoring system you want to go. Darren, please.
Please.
How does the scoring system go?
You can
again?
do it out of
Whatever
10,
you
out
want.
of 5. You
However,
could,
yeah, you get to
yeah,
choose.
whatever you wanna
That's-
do.
that's-
All right.
Four thumbs.
So, and favorite character too.
if you want to, and just your closing thoughts about the film.
All right. I definitely go watch it because Aquaman was just too much of a relatable character. I mean, like I'm still in college. I'm a senior right now.
Bro.
And like a little bit about me is that I longboard.
Yeah.
I like
He
music.
designs
It's just-
longboards.
Yeah. And
Check 'em out.
Check him out.
Like
Link in
what was he
description.
drinking? Whiskey. But
Yes.
and he downed that like. Honestly, he's just someone
do
I look
that.
up to.
Not
But
good
anyways,
song.
I finish it off with like a 7.5. It's a movie that I would go see, pass the time, talk about it with your friends, and bring it up again. Just like it's a good time before the moment.
bring it up again.
Don't bring it
Talk
up.
about it.
You'll never.
Like it's just gonna get like waved over is what I mean. But like it's
my
definitely
stomach
something to
feels
go
so
out if
small.
you're interested. If you like superhero movies, just don't pass this one up, and then just like just carry on with your day.
Mhm.
Uh,
How about you, Ethan?
I give it like a 6 out of 10.
Mhm.
Maybe a little bit less if I want to be pessimistic.
Mhm.
But my favorite character was Superman's mom. That's definitely.
You got a crush on her?
Yeah.
You can say you're thirsty for her.
Superman ruined the movie, actually,
Mm.
by coming back. And, yeah. Nah, those are my thoughts.
I give it 2 hypercubes.
Two
Hold on, I was
hypercubes.
building up to it, Adam.
Like, you're not even picking up, that's the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
No, when you were saying, like, 2 hypercubes.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll give it 2 hypercubes out of 3, and I think
That's like a
are
near
they
perfect
hypercubes
score.
mother boxes.
Mother
I'll give it 2 mother boxes out of 3,
The Tesseract.
and I
The
thought that
MacGuffins.
the movie was fun, and it wasn't anything too crazy. But I think DC's on the right path to maybe something that's pretty good. They just need to get all their like we have to do these movies out of the way.
You definitely need the. Right now, with Batman vs Superman, it was a step. I feel like they're on a better ground, and I feel like if they got a film with only one vision, I feel like the next movie would be better because they're on this new platform now. If that makes sense, no.
I get what you're saying. I just don't agree with
Too many
it personally. I think what should have been interesting, Man of Steel should have been Man of Steel 2, a Batman solo film, Wonder Woman, and then a Justice League film.
Agreed.
I think it should have
Well,
been that. Or if you wanted to,
well,
you could do a
yeah.
Batman v Superman and then Justice League. But
I like all the individual
I feel like
movies.
there's
I
a
want
lot of-
Aquaman first, and then Justice League should be the culmination.
They
For me,
didn't earn it.
I just think it's easier, and
No, I don't think the idea is inherently bad. I just think they didn't.
right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
They
It's just
just
hard to
didn't
pull off,
do it
and
right. Yeah.
I would really like to see a Batman movie in this universe, because I think Batman was still one of my favorite like characters in this. But I understand why they would be wary of doing that because it'd be constantly compared to Dark Knight.
I mean, Batfleck is not. He's not going to be it. So.
Yeah, he won't be the
Which is
saying.
I'm honestly still so bummed about that. 'Cause he was going to direct, start, and write in it,
Yeah,
especially
no, he
after
was-
Argo
yeah.
and the town.
He
You're
was like,
right.
he was ready.
No, like that was always a thing. It was everyone's like, okay, it's all right. You know, Suicide Squad sucked. Batman Super. That we got that Batman film, and no one's gonna.
It's covered.
That's gonna be amazing.
It's
And
his
then
baby.
and it's-
And then now
I
he's
just-
leaving.
It would have been so cool, like such a like different take on it.
Mhm.
All right.
Because it's like an old Batman.
But it seems
Yeah.
like nobody's having fun.
Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
go ahead.
so going into this movie, I admit that I had very little expectations, but watching they like Marvel has that comic book reel thing that they do, like Marvel Studios movie. DC had an equivalent here, and it really reminded me how iconic
Right.
these
Yes.
characters are,
Yes.
and how
Yes.
really widespread they are in our culture. Probably, arguably more so than Marvel characters.
In some ways, yes.
In most,
Probably.
especially like Superman is a
Yeah,
almost
they're-
household name. I would say so. With that in mind, I have to be a little harder on this movie. I think it was held back, but in all of the flaws in this movie were made worse by the screenplay, and a lot of ideas were good but executed poorly. So I would have to. I wanted to give it a 6. But I might even say like a 5 or 5, like a mid-tier 5 out of 10.
Don't worry, Austin. I'm gonna back you up.
So and it makes me sad because yes, we wanted
And I'm gonna
Justice
do
League
this
to be
while I
the
say
thing
my
to solve the DCEU, and I don't know if it did it. It still
It
left
didn't.
me in this middle ground of I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm hoping for a movie to fix that for me, and I hope that movie's Green Lantern. But
Yeah,
can
we don't
see-
even know when that's coming out.
right. So,
Yeah.
but you can see what I mean. I don't know if this was the best thing they could have done. Thank you.
It definitely would. all right. Go ahead, Matt.
Best character, Flash. I just relate to him so much. All right,
Okay.
my rating,
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Okay.
It was a really good movie. I feel like everything that I liked in Batman vs Superman, they did better. There were some flaws, and you heard me pick them out. But you can't really truly love something if you're blind to the flaws of that thing. So
The bug spread.
the
bug spread.
I'm sorry. That honestly, I didn't think about that until when I was sitting there, and I was just like, the motherfucking bug spray didn't come up. But it was 8 out of 10. It was probably I haven't seen that many movies this year. 2017, I feel like was like
Yeah, better than Logan, definitely.
Oh yeah.
no, like
Take that back.
Cannot sit-
2017 was definitely a dry year in my opinion, for movie releases.
Movie releases in general?
I just think back of like 2016. There's so many movies that we went to. Just going back to my movie stub, my ticket stub collection, and just looking back throughout the years and be like, oh, 2015 we went and saw, or like not like as a group, just myself. Oh, I saw this, yes. And then when I went back and I was looking, I was like, I didn't really. There wasn't enough
Maybe it was just our
movies.
schedules.
Not even. No, I'm not even saying like movies to see like as a group. Just like me going to the movies. There wasn't just enough movies that like drew me to it, kind of thing.
You're no longer the target audience.
I guess not.
You're
Perhaps.
too old now.
When did The Arrival come out?
Arrival?
2016.
2016.
Fall.
Alright.
So 8 out of 10. It's definitely one of my top 3 movies of this year, and I guess you can already guess what number 1 was. Coco.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coco
You
was-
need to go watch Logan.
No, shut up.
You need to go watch that.
You can watch
No,
Logan.
dude, you would like.
You need to watch
Not a
Logan.
Marvel movie.
You
okay?
need to
no.
watch
I'm not,
Logan.
Listen,
No,
I
man,
just-
you'll like it. You'll like it.
I'll like it, but
What
Coco was
What
just
the hell?
it
I'm not-
felt so
not
good to
telling
me.
You it's gonna
We're not saying it's better than Coco. We're just saying
they're very different. movies.
Logan is
Yeah.
Logan
Yeah.
is going to be number 2. That's what we're saying.
Don't tell me what my number 2 is going to be, because now I'm going to hate it.
If you think
Oh my
Logan,
God,
if you
you
think
wish.
Justice League is better than Logan, we're gonna
Oh,
have to have a very long
Something
talk.
that I didn't like is just like how all the titles came up. I kind of like how they introduced like the Justice League title. It was just the flag, very silent, and I like that introduction to it.
I'm surprised they never said that by name either, like Justice League. Yeah.
I
was
kind of
a-
like
I was
that.
afraid-
Oh, that was thing I liked at the end though, between Alfred and Batman, or I should say Bruce, when they were talking about like making the Hall of Justice in that
Oh,
room.
yeah.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was
And
cool.
they're rebuilding the Bruce man.
Yes.
And Aquaman. I don't
And
know.
a-
I didn't
and a
like that.
tank.
I didn't like the name dropping a lot. Most of the time, I did not like the name dropping.
No,
You're
but
some sort of Aquaman.
I'm
You're some
leaving.
sort of aquatic man.
Yeah.
I'm dipping, so I want to get my little.
Are you gonna dip?
Yeah, I'm gonna dip.
Okay.
But wait, I'm leaving. But Coco, 9 out of 10. Best movie.
leaving,
Go
you're
see it. Mi Familia. I
Are we
butchered that pronounces.
Are we
I'm
gonna talk
leaving.
about Coco now?
It's
Because
3 in the morning.
yeah,
I mean, I
Alright.
want to, but
I said my
damn.
piece. I'm out.
Unless you want to do like a bite-sized review.
Marvel
'cause
sucks.
I won't have time to
Justice
do
League is
it
better.
this
Just
weekend.
save it for later.
well, we could always
Really?
do it on
No, save it for later so then I can watch it.
I want to walk out.
When though? When can we do it?
when we come back in like 3 weeks.
In December?
And we do our
Can-
super duper.
Oh
And
my
I-
god, that's gonna be a lot.
And I apologize because we kind of delayed it for my sake, but
Okay. That's
Oh, we're
besides the
ending
point.
it?
Anyways.
Anyway, no,
Thoughts.
don't leave it because you have to tell the people some other stuff. But anyway,
Okay.
so I think this is just a movie, kind of what Austin was talking about, where it just illustrates the problems of where DC is at right now. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too many people saying where they should go and what direction should be done, and that's unfortunate because these really are some really iconic characters, and it's unfortunate to see them mistreated so poorly in the film industry when they've been portrayed so well in the comics and in animation and everything else, and you just wonder like, why is it so hard to nail this down?
Yeah.
Like, what is the issue? And it's unfortunate. I think that this is not a bad film. I didn't hate this like I did Suicide Squad, and there wasn't even that many aspects of it that was so negative, whereas like Batman v Superman. But for me, this is just a painfully average movie.
I
Like,
feel like you turn your brain off.
yeah, it's like what
Yeah.
Darren said. This is like you can have a fun time with it, and then just you're never gonna remember it again.
I
And
feel it's a good movie
Carry
to watch
on
with
with
your
your day.
family. On
Yeah.
the
I'm
weekends.
yeah, and thing like it's just so I feel so bad saying that about a Batman and a Superman
the Justice
and
League
like
movie.
Aquaman's film debut, Cyborg's film
Right.
debut. It feels bad to say that.
compared to
Flash,
Avengers.
yeah, it feels bad to say that.
when you say Avengers, for Avengers 1 and I know we all like Civil War. For Avengers 1 and 2, was that really like a deep film? Was that like a turn your brain off
Deep?
film?
I
A
wouldn't.
little
Say,
bit.
I mean,
I
I don't.
don't personally remember them that much, so I
Yeah.
would say I would.
I wouldn't call it turn your brain
I
off.
wouldn't call it turn your brain off, but I was much more invested in those characters, and also I thought they were better
True.
films.
And I was never brought out of it like I was when this movie.
Yeah,
in various
this
moments.
movie
Yeah.
felt like a movie.
Yeah.
we just did
Okay.
the same.
Yeah.
It felt like a movie.
I can agree with
Exactly. So it's just. I wouldn't even say there's like a lot of flaws. It was a lot of, well, this could have been done a lot better. There was nothing in this movie I was like, that was bad.
Right.
Besides the gratuitous shots that we talked about. That was one of the
Yeah.
only things
They
I could
changed
say.
their costumes.
Yeah. Where I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that is
I'm
very
calling you out,
poor.
Zach.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
That was one of the only things I was like, that is bad. But everything else is just very painfully average. I have to give it a matinee. I'm sorry, not a matinee. A 5 out of 10 or a rental. Like it's really not something that you need to go out and see the theaters, especially since the CG in a lot of scenes is just terrible. There was one thing too. Did a lot of you like not understand what Steppenwolf was saying at some points?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there was so many
yeah,
times
yeah.
like, what he
No,
say?
when he had Cyborg over him, I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know what he said.
like, you're the
The sound mixing was
leg off.
so bad.
He was saying like you don't understand the true like power.
It was
of
something. It wasn't
What,
super important.
some
but
evil
it was like-
monologue.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, rental 5 out of 10. I really hope that DC can turn things around. I don't like.
I don't know
a lot
if
of
they
people
can.
are saying like reboot it. I don't know if you
No,
necessarily.
no way. That would be awful.
Yeah, that'd be so bad if they did
they
that.
would dig themselves in so
Yeah,
like
that would
we
be- that would be
we're
the
already
biggest
getting some
defeat.
bearings
Yeah.
with some characters.
I think
But
that
I'm like, can they fix it?
I think for DC it's just a lot of like relax.
Yeah.
Slow down,
Probably
focus
slow
on
down.
one film
Yeah.
at a time. Don't announce like 20 different films and
Agreed.
say that you're doing just one at a time. Make a build up. Just start simple. As much as everyone says don't copy Marvel, maybe you guys that's what you guys
Yeah, a
need to
little
do. They're the most
worked.
successful cinematic universe, and there's no one else.
Batman-
Been able to,
pioneered the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
You're right.
If they copy Marvel, then they're always going to be compared to Marvel, and they'll probably be a foot behind.
I'm not saying copy Marvel the entire time. I'm saying you guys have tried to not do what Marvel has done, and it's clear that for you, and whether that's your fault or the formula itself, it's not working. So what I'm saying is maybe try and do like basically a phase 1, just like what Marvel did, just to get yourselves off the ground, and then you can start doing all that other stuff that you want to do.
Yeah, I
but
think it's just
it's
split
clear
out.
that
That's all.
that there needs to be some sort of structure
Marvel was
or a
slow as
shape
fuck,
up.
remember?
Yeah.
Marvel, like,
The first
remember,
movies-
remember Iron Man, like, showing up in one of those movies and you were like, what?
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean that's kind of my 2 cents. I just want to see. No one wants to see these. It looks bad if these are like. As much as we talk about Marvel versus DC, if there's a DC film that's bad, that looks bad for Marvel as well, because then people get tired of the superhero genre as a whole.
It drags the whole thing.
Yeah, and most people don't even know there's a difference between Marvel and DC. So that's what it comes down to.
Right.
Spider-Man wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, but anyway, let's kind of close things out. Darren, thank you for coming on, man. We're really happy to have you. How can the people follow you? How can the people find out more about you?
I don't know. I'll be around. I'm just chilling during winter break.
You-
so
No,
here.
you
shut up
don't-
and
you
tell
don't-
them about your
yeah,
longboard thing.
Yeah, tell them about your longboarding. Tell them about like your Twitter. They can follow you, stuff like that.
Yeah, Insta.
Just follow me on Instagram. DZ approved. That is a D and a Z and then the word approved. And if you like longboards, check out DZAL_X. That's the craft I make.
Links will be in the description. For those of you who don't know, Darren does make custom longboards. If that's what you're looking for.
I ride a hammerhead shark. It's cool.
Hell yeah! All right, Ethan. How can the people follow you? Of course.
Follow me on Twitter, Dr. Noodle Mage. It'll be in the fucking description. Fuck off. I don't want
I'm
to
gonna follow you, man. Now I know where to go.
I'll include the link to your blog as well. Jake, how can the people follow you?
They can
ResearchGate.
they can follow me at ResearchGate. Peep me at ResearchGate. Don't peep me on LinkedIn.
Don't.
Don't peep me on LinkedIn or connect to me, whatever you want to
Don't
do.
fucking connect to me.
Connect to me if you want to be serious. No funny business on LinkedIn. Alright, I'm a
He
professional.
wants to get
now.
a doctorate.
Gotta clean up my act.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like,
Alright.
don't follow me, guys.
Don't
Like,
follow me on
I
LinkedIn.
am a grad student and they're watching,
Alright.
so I'm just follow me here. My name's Austin Smith, and thanks for watching.
Oh, you don't want them to follow you on
No,
anything?
Austin Smith says no.
Okay, I'll have to.
No more.
You know,
No,
you've
no.
given your social
No,
media
wait,
away.
wait,
no.
wait.
I'm mostly joking.
Add him on Overwatch.
Oh fuck yeah! Add me on Overwatch. I'm Hedrigal, and I have a lot of fun.
They're not gonna know. You have to give them the numbers.
Oh god, you're right. You're right.
Later.
You got
Well,
that?
Later.
Bio.
Later.
Follow
Link
me
it in
on
the bio.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description.
Yup.
Anyway, go ahead.
I don't have anything yet. I'm still working out social media.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm an old
Alright,
man.
Grandpa.
All right, guys.
Shut up, doctor.
All right.
Doctor.
Well, anyway, if you want to follow me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Adam_bomb and on most other forms of social media.
No, just go to Blizzard headquarters and be like, give us Adam Bomb.
And of course, I want to give a shout out to Rutgers Esports and Tespa and Blizzard Entertainment for everything that they do, and please follow them on social media. If you're not doing anything next weekend, please come out to the Fireside Open at Rutgers, New Brunswick.
Hell yeah.
We're doing a very, very big esports.
I drew a poster for that last year.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
It was a very
yeah.
nice poster.
I hope that. Can you give me that poster again without the text so that they can like try and reuse it?
No, they're trying to. I think they told me we were getting someone else to do a custom
New
poster.
direction.
It's not gonna be as good.
I know, but
Right.
Yeah,
come
we
on.
Saw, we saw what you did.
I got you.
I know. Anyway, so I just want to give a huge shout out to them, and of course, thank you to everyone that is listening or is gonna be watching this video. You guys could be doing anything else in the world. You could be doing you could be anywhere, but you're here listening to us.
Yeah, what
And
the fuck? Why?
and for that, I'm just really, really grateful. And of course, I want to give a shout out. As much as I don't like this film, I want to give a shout out to everyone that worked on it and put in the time, even though it was not the product that you guys wanted. I'm sure many of you put your heart and soul into it.
Great actor.
And and
Adam for
I think
Superman.
I think for the final shout out I want to give is to everyone who created these characters. Oh my God.
I love you, Stan Lee.
Yes, Jack Kirby. Oh my God.
Oh my god, I can picture that.
Yeah, especially Jack Kirby.
I pictured it and then
And
heard you laughing, and I was laughing too.
and the amount of work that he's put in over the years, he's finally getting some recognition with characters like Steppenwolf.
Careful.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Hold on, wait.
Adam
Hey
for
Jay, send us
Superman.
off.
Bye.
There's no way they heard that.
I know.
There's no way.
No, it literally.